Parkview Sports Medicine, especially since I've been a pro, has been a place where my game has really been able to develop in multiple facets. Injury prevention, maintenance, physical therapy, weightlifting, agility work, all the things that I need to do in order to have an NBA body. This is the place for me to go when I come back home and I need to get a workout in. Always welcome me back with open arms.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
The Kelly Automotive Group is simple, transparent, reliable. Simple. Our customer specialists make buying a car easy and fun. Transparent. Our price listed is the best price. No hassle, no gimmicks. Reliable. Buy with confidence and peace of mind. We work hard to ensure the best value however you shop. Choose from over 60 vehicles under $10,000. Visit drivekelly.com. The Kelly Automotive Group. Simple, transparent, reliable.
Parkview Sports Medicine is an integrated sports medicine team. We're treating injuries when and where they happen and working to prevent them before they do. We believe the best care is coordinated care, helping ensure you get the individualized services you need every step of the way, offering innovative treatment techniques to get you or the athlete you love back in play. Reaching higher, pushing further. Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
University. Up next with words and music by former University President, Sister Joellen Sheets. Here is the University of Saint Francis Fight Song.
Polka Fight Song. Copy.
Please enjoy this exciting arrangement of Crazy Train.
Ambrose out of Davenport, Iowa. St. Francis owns a 10-1 lifetime record over the Bees, so you might be tempted to think, hey, just another day at the office, but you would be wrong, so wrong, dead wrong. For 3 straight years, these two teams played in one-point decisions, and today may prove to be more of the same. Hi, everybody. Welcome in to Bishop John M. Darcy Stadium. Sean McBride returns with us today. My name's Joe Parson, and St. Ambrose Sean stayed as the MSFA Midwest League's only unbeaten team, now 2-0, by virtue of a weather-delayed victory last week in Lindenwood, Belleville, 26-0. That game originally scheduled for Saturday. It was finally completed on Sunday as the Bees struck once by land, once by air, and both touchdowns sandwiched around a pair of Tom Gillen long field goals. And quarterback Jake Romani, now a senior, he returns now as the number 3 quarterback among MSFA QBs, who threw for over 1,900 yards a year ago, 15 touchdowns a season ago, and he'll be a big key today for the Bees offensively, but they've got a very, very good defense as well.
They do, Joe, and when we talk about their win last week, again, they're able to face adversity on the road, so that's always a key factor in a winning strategy throughout the season. But let's talk about a couple guys here on defense, and we're going to highlight them throughout the day. When we look at their D end, he is a big bruiser. That's number 18, Bernard Buhake. Checks in at 6'7", at 225. He leads the team with 5 sacks and 4 tackles for loss. They also have a stud middle linebacker in Taylor O'Donnell. He is number 51, 21 individual tackles leading the team there. So a stout defense coming into Darcy Stadium today.
No question about it. And for Saint Francis a week ago was a trip to Joliet, Illinois in a matchup in namesakes, also University of Saint Francis. And sometimes it takes a pivotal play to shake things up. That happened last Saturday in what was somewhat a tenuous 8-point lead for the Cougars as Wilmer Cole stepped in front of a Fighting Saints pass, returned it 21 yards for a touchdown. That extended what was that 8-point lead suddenly to 15, and that really inspired that play would inspire the Cougars to a run of 28 points in a row as the number 1 ranked Cougars would go on to a 49-19 victory. And defense also keys, Sean, with the Cougars. They sacked quarterbacks for the Saints 5 times, and that's always a very important factor.
Indeed it is, and of course the Cougars are looking for a complete game today. Some of the areas to clean up, they had way too many penalties. Right now they're down on the totem pole, over 100 yards in penalties last week. They need to clean that up, but really what's truly important here as well is when you look at the Cougars, they have won 25 consecutive games. And that is not only a USF record, but a Mid-States Football Association record. The players on the field today do not want to upset that record. They don't want their names going down in that asterisk column right there.
Cougars Bees here today in Fort Wayne, ready for another installment in the chapter of their long-standing rivalry. Will it be another 1-point decision? Well, time will tell, and we'll take a timeout, then we'll come back and talk with Cougar coach Kevin Donley and get his perspective on the day's assignment. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
Director Dr. Stephen Kandow leads the band in the playing of our national anthem. I will pot us
down.
Cougar fans, be sure to join us for our halftime show later this afternoon as we perform a music honoring legends of rock and soul. Fans, be sure to visit our food vendor during today's game. Big Eyed Fish is down underneath the bleachers with the best fish and tenderloin sandwiches in Fort Wayne. Fort Financial Credit Union, my future, my family, my Fort. Fort Financial is an equal housing lender and federally insured by the NCUA. Visit Fort Financial Credit Union table under the bleachers to enter to participate in today's halftime football toss contest. Excursions Trailways is the official motor coach company of USF Athletics. Visit www.excursionstrailways.com for all of your transportation needs. Midwest America is your home for mortgages and all of your personal and business banking needs. Visit them online or at any of their 11 Northeast Indiana locations. Midwest America, for your home, for your family. In the interest of encouraging sustainability initiatives, the University of Saint Francis asks all athletic personnel, students, and guests to please make a conscious effort to recycle paper and plastic used at stadium events. Recycling containers are placed throughout the stadium for your convenience, and a designated bin for recycling programs has been placed near the stadium entrance.
Coach Kevin Donley talking about the matchup here today at Darcy Stadium for the Cougars taking on the St. Ambrose Fighting Beef. Both teams are 2-0 coming in. Cougars, of course, remain ranked number 1, and the two-time defending national champions finished that campaign a year ago at 14-0 under Coach Kevin Donley, now in his 21st season. As far as the Fighting Bees, they received votes effectively number 29 this week. Mike Magistrelli, their longtime coach, in his 12th year. And as far as last year, they were 4-6. They finished 2-3 in the Midwest League. They lost their final game at Olivet Nazarene in the end of the season at 20-17. And of course, had a big win for the Cougars a year ago in Davenport on September 16th of last year, as the Cougars, with 684 yards of total offense, beat the Bees in Iowa 49-21. Let's take a timeout, and then we will be back as we will wait for the meeting at midfield, the coin toss. Sean McBride is down there for that, and we'll be back with kickoff coming up here in a matter of moments. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana. Tell you what, just run the 1:30 because it looks like they're getting ready to come out for the coin toss. Got you that? Yeah, I'll put it down. Partly cloudy skies here at Darcy Stadium, 77 degrees, winds out of the northeast at about 5 miles an hour. All in all, just a great afternoon for college football here in Fort Wayne. If you're looking for something to do, come on out. We got room for you. Expecting a great turnout here today, and a great football game among two very good football programs.
National champ, the University of St. Francis Cougars.
Getting ready for the teams, the co-captains, to come out. The referee today is Matt Bushy. And we will have the coin toss coming up here momentarily. Other games coming on today in the MSFA. It's St. Xavier on the road at Lindenwood Belleville. And, of course, we mentioned St. X because we will be there in Chicago next Saturday, as it'll be an all-Cougar matchup. That'll be at 2 o'clock Fort Wayne kickoff time in Chicago, and pregame on Redeemer Radio at about 1:45. Other games today, Taylor visiting Trinity International. Siena Heights is hosting Robert Morris today. Olivet Nazarene goes on the road to Concordia. And Missouri Baptist, they will take on Wisconsin River Falls. Coach Donley talking about really the tough matchup today. But also, when you think about it, starts a gauntlet. Next week, St. X. Marion comes to town after that. Concordia. Let's go down with Sean and referee Matt Bushy. Introduction of the players going on right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field the back-to-back NAIA National Champs, your University of St. Francis Cougars!
University of St. Francis won the toss. They defer. Receive.
We'll see you back up shortly. We'll take a timeout and get ready. It's the Bees and the Cougars getting ready to kick it off here at Darcy Stadium. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
When you experience a sports injury, muscle, or joint pain, you want treatment right away. Parkview Ortho Express provides same-day orthopedic and sports injury care without referral or appointment, offering diagnostics, x-rays, the region's only body composition DEXA scan right inside of the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse. Walk in Monday through Thursday, 7 to 7, Friday, 7 to 5, and Saturday, 8 to noon. For more information, go to parkviewsportsmedicine.com/orthoexpress.
Welcome in, everybody. I'm Joe Parsons. Sean McBride will be with us shortly. I want to remind everybody that Bishop Luers High School, a Catholic educational community that instills in each student dignity, integrity, respect, and responsibility. You can catch the Luers spirit at www.bishopluers.org. So the Cougars won the toss, deferred. They will kick away from left to right as we look at it. Sean, I don't know if you had a feel for the wind. It seems to be a little stronger at high level here at the upper press box level. Not sure it's that much of a factor at ground level.
No, the field was calm. I would agree, Joe. If you get up above here, there's a very nice breeze. Down on the field, not so much.
Looking at Vince Vignali being back deep. He's got one kickoff return this year for 27 yards. Also, Tanner Champley has done some kickoff returning. He's had one of 21 yards.
87, Gavin Gardner.
Gavin Gardner ready to tee it up at the Cougar 35.
Number 3, Vince Vignali.
Looks like that perhaps, well, Isaiah Hawkins is back there as well in kick return. Looks like you might get a little bit of a wind aid if you're moving from left to right. Cougars will ostensibly have the wind with them when they get the ball. Just about ready to get this one underway. It'll warm up perhaps in the low 80s. Nobody complaining, though. Here we go. Gardner ready to put the foot into the ball. Long end over end down the middle. And it'll be taken at the goal line. They'll bring it out across the 10, 15. And the Cougar defense will stop them short of the 20-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Bees, moving from right to left as we look at it.
Great first showing that time for the special teams play for the University of St. Francis. Been stout all last year and doing a fine job so far this year. Again, we're looking for a complete package out of the St. Francis Cougars today.
And trying to stay away a little bit more from penalties. They've been averaging 110 a game. That's last, dead last in the MSFA. We'll see a lot of veteran quarterback Jake Romani, 6'3" senior, 220 pounds. Sets him out of the shotgun formation. He's effectively got 3 wide to his right, wants to throw. Looks, checks off, come back near side. That ball nearly picked off, as reading it perfectly was Wilmer Cole. He almost had back-to-back game pick 6 interceptions.
Yeah, that was a very dangerous thing as a quarterback checked off. He went back to his left side, decides to gun it. Cole was right there. He was neck to neck with that receiver. Very dangerous throw, and Cole nearly picked it.
You can understand why Romani looked at Vignali's way. He had 6 catches, 108 yards last. Now they'll run the, no, it's a pass coming into the flats. And turning run Out of bounds somewhere around the 24-yard line. Himmelman on that. They throw to their wing back a lot. He had 3 catches last week for 50 yards. Carter Himmelman, he's big guy, 6'3", 235, and it'll be 3rd down and 5 coming up. Bees on 3rd down situations last week were at 50%, 8 of 16, trying to reach their own. There's an out pass, and ball is dropped in and out of the hands. And boy, that was great defense. Ryan Johnson had the receiver lined up, J.D. Villaforte.
Yeah, Villaforte paid for that one. That was a beautiful form tackle right there, separating the ball, and this drive is going to be killed. Should be a very good setup for the St. Francis offense here with a short field condition coming up, regardless of the return.
Adam Sigworth checks in to punt the ball away. He had a couple of punts last week along a 44, averaged 39 yards a punt. And the Cougars should come with a very good field position. Good snap to him. Sigworth gets it away. Backpedaling. Komakevich has got it at the 39 of USS. Works left sidelines. And penalty flag is thrown as he brought the ball to the 46-yard line of St. Ambrose. But let's see if that's going to back the Cougs up.
Now, Komakevich, he's 5'9", 178 pounds, and he brought a load, snapped back the defender's head that time with a big shoulder right into the impact area. But let's see what this penalty is.
Sean, funny story quickly about Komakevich last year in a hold game.
Number 46 on the return team, 10-yard penalty. You spotted a foul.
That goes against USF. And Justin Green normally does the kickoff returns. Justin was in the restroom because of stomach problems. They couldn't find him. Hey, number 1, check into the game. You're going to return a kick. He returned it all right for a touchdown. Good way for a freshman to get the coach's attention.
That's
in a
right.
Good way.
He'll get back out on the field for sure.
Speaking of Justin Green, not expecting to see him today. The coaches, he's available, but they want to hold him out if possible because of that twisted ankle last week. Here's Eli Wallace. Starts left, cuts right. Nice move. And he's got a 1st down across midfield into Bees territory. Brings it down inside the 48-yard line.
Very patient run that time. Kept the feet churning and able to hop, step, and cut back, and gets a nice push that time. Good open field block that time, and gets it past the midfield stripe.
Eli Wallace, a sophomore, 5'9", 210.
That play results in a
Rocky James into the game, wide to the left side, 2 wide to the right now. Rixey's up on the slot to the right side. Matt Crable at quarterback looks to hand the ball off again, and Wallace running up the middle, and he's got a good gain of about 5-6 yards, brings it to the 42 of the Bees.
Nice conservative play calling right here, setting up a 2nd and short, 2nd and mid for the St. Francis Cougars. The playbook is wide open right here, but I'm sure it's early, so they're just going to want to test their offense and make sure they're firing on all cylinders here.
Cougar offensive line averaging 283 a man. Landon Myers, 6'3" junior in the center spot. Nick Shoemaker and Austin Smoger are the guards. Ryder Burkett and Reese Roney are the tackles today starting. 2nd down and 4. Here's our off-tackle run to the right side. Penalty flag thrown again as Wallace knifes down to about the 41. That would be short of the 1st down. Picked up only about a yard and a half. But let's see the penalty again. The blue and silver kind of backing up again.
Yeah. That would be their 2nd penalty very early here. 13:24 to go here in the 1st quarter. And here comes the call.
Number 78 on the offense. 10-yard penalty for previous spot. 2nd down.
Big sophomore tackle. Ryder Burkett whistled, 6'5", 274. So the penalty is walked off. That'll take the ball back to the U.S. side of midfield to the 48-yard line. Remains 2nd down. 2nd down and 14, and we may see our first pass of the day. Schmeling checks into the ball game, slot left. That's the wide side of the field now. Rixey, the lone wide to the short side to the right. Shotgun formation for Crable. Drops to throw. Steps up in the pocket. Can run, can throw, and throws completes at the 40-yard line. Here's a run. Schmeling down the right sidelines inside the 15. Knocked out of bounds at the 10. As coming across to make that stop for the Bees was number 15, and that's Reed Roulette getting a chance to play defense.
Yeah, Schmeling lined up on the top of the field there and just dragged right across the middle. He was open, wide open, and so good job by Crable to find his vision downfield, hit him in stride, and a huge gain that time for St. Francis.
Nick Brickens now will come into the backfield for USF. Rixey stays in, lone wide to the right side. Schmeling in motion. Here's a counter run coming up. And gained back to the 10. That's about 1.5 yards gained. And that is it.
Yeah, nice job by the Bees defense that time. Again, they fake the jet sweep and do an interior counter, and nobody was really fooled in the front four for the Cougars.
P.J. Dean getting the snap. P.J. Dean did not play all of last year, 2016. He had 91 carries for 456 yards. Did score 5 touchdowns. A gain of 1, 2nd down and 9. Cougars could pick up a 1st down at the 1. Opening series for USF. As the Bees went 3 and out, they'll run the ball once again as here's an off-tackle run to the right side, down inside the 5, maybe to the 4.
Left guard that time, Austin Smoger, was there to clear the path for the running back. And, of course, a nice patient run that time, waiting for Smoger to get through there and create a little crease, and it was very effective inside the 5.
P.J. Dean's going to stay in there as the running back as Cougars now look down at 3rd down and let's call it a long 3. Again, they can pick up a 1st down inside the 5. Nate Carson comes in now. He is wide to the short side to the right. Birkin's in there as well. 2 protectors, motion Schmeling. They give the ball to Jordan Schmeling. Needs a block, not going to get it. Tripped up and a nice defensive play. That's Roletta again, I believe, out there. And that's a loss back around the 10.
Yeah, great pursuit. Way to get the end so that he's not able to break contain that time. Hitting the backfield, that's a nice tackle for loss for St. Ambrose, and it looks like the field goal team is coming on.
So Gavin Gardner will try to give the Cougars the early lead. Year ago was 8 of 12 in field goals, had along a 35. Missed one last week. 0 for 1 as Joe Nepper is the holder from the left side hash mark. This one's got the distance. Does he have the angle? He does. So it will be a field goal that gives St. Francis the early lead here at home. 10:42 remains in the opening quarter. 3-0. Number 1 ranked Cougars on top, and we'll be back. This is Redeemer Radio. Cougar football bringing it today at 106.3 FM Northeast Indiana. Did you get the distance on that?
No, I didn't. Probably 27.
That's what I was.
They stopped him near the 10.
Yeah.
So
we'll get the. I don't know if they've got it on that.
Taking off the Cougars, 87, Gavin Gardner.
You'll have an H&L at some point.
Ambrose.
Welcome back, everybody. Darcy Stadium, our venue today with Sean McBride. Great to have him back with us. My name's Joe Parson. 3-0 Cougars in the early lead, and just the way we started the ball game, USF will kick it off to the Bees, left to right. Good turnout, by the way, from Davenport across the way, making that trip to support the Bees. Gardner kicking, tailing off to the right side. Fair catch is called. That's dropped in the end zone. Now does he have to bring it out? He does. And knocked down inside the 5. So that was probably, shall we say, some bad judgment.
Yeah, it surely was. He did not have to bring that ball out, Joe. He caught it actually in the end zone. Well, fumbled it in the end zone, so it did not leave the plane of the end zone. If he would have downed it, it would have been taken out.
But I know I can appreciate if you're that man, young man.
Yeah, no,
hey, I'm not quite sure, so I got to bring it out just to be sure.
Yep. Well,
you don't want to take a safety.
No. Long field coming up here for the Bees.
They'll spot it at the 3, so 97 yards away. St. Ambrose going to stay with Jake Romani. 45 of 68 through the air for 540 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And motion to the near side as they run a counter off the left side. That's out to the 5-yard line, and that's about it. Pretty good defense by that right side defensively for USF.
Yeah, it is. They were faking right, supposed to go where they were faking left, supposed to go to the right where the first man threw, but there was nothing there but a brick wall in front of him. So he again had to break left and still got a very small gain.
Osterberger getting the call. 24 carries, 84 yards. Scored 2 touchdowns last week against Lindenwood Belleville. Shotgun formation. Here's Romani, wants to throw, throws over the middle. He's got a man, but way too long with a pass sailed. Trying to find Vignali once again down the left sidelines, incomplete, and just like that, it's 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, that was a tough one. A double fake, so that was setting up well, and just overthrown. So he had to step on the defender but was not able to make it.
It's going to be an interesting matchup all day long between Vigdali and Wilmer Cole. Had the pick 6 last week. Wilmer comes up in press coverage now on this third down call coming up. Romani out of the gun. Actually, the pistol, deep handoff. They'll run the ball left side. Coleman. Cole is there. Wilmer Cole makes the stop short of the 10. So again, it'll be a 3-and-out situation for the Bees. They'll have to punt the ball away with 4th down and long coming up.
Cole was underestimated there. He just shredded his blocker and went in and knifed in and made a very nice stop there from the edge. And a defender like Cole, you've got to stay on him. You've got to stay low and get your hands up in there and try and move him out of the way. The receiver did a very poor job against Cole that time.
Now Sigworth is standing very close, about less than a yard away from the end line. Needs a good snap here and gets one. Rushes on, but the kick is away. Tomakevich has got it at the 45 of St. Ambrose. Needs a block. Cuts to his left, 35, 30, 25. Left sidelines. Got a chance inside the 10 to the 5. And stepped out of bounds. They're going to roll him back around where the 10-yard line appears.
There was a couple flags on this play, or actually a couple of helmets on the play. Flag coming out back here near the 35-yard line. There was some really man-on-man wrestling going on near the 36-yard line. Let's see what the call is. It was going to be either on St. Ambrose or
St. Francis.
Or St. Francis, yeah, obviously.
Number 39 on the return team. 10-yard penalty from the final foul. First down.
That's number 3.
Yep, another 10-yard penalty for St. Francis. Well, football fans, just a reminder that H&L Electric is your full-service electrical contractor. From commercial and industrial to residential, H&L Electric can handle the smallest to the largest of projects for your business or residence. Call Pete Henry at H&L Electric.
Well, a little case of good news, bad news. Bad news is it wipes out that return of Tomakevich down inside the 15. But the USF does have the ball at the Bees' 46-yard line. And 1st and 10 coming up. Rocky James checks into the game, lone wide to the left side, trips to the right. A little different set. One back look. And a play action fake. Crable throws over the middle. He's got a catch, twisting. That's a catch inside the 25, and that's big Chris Smith. They're going more and more to this big fella. 225 junior. Had 2 catches last week. Has his first of the day today.
Chris Smith, he's the junior, checking in at 5'10", 230 pounds out of Pike High School, and he moves when he gets a full head of steam in front of him. So he puts that shoulder down and gets some extra yards. Very nice throw and catch.
Pretty much used them all as a blocking back last year, and he's versatile.
And he finds a way to get open.
That helps.
Yeah,
1st and 10 at the Bees' 23. We have 8:48 remaining. They'll run the ball now, and there's Eli Wallace. Ran into Waywall at the 20-yard line, but he does pick up about 3 yards.
And really, for the design play, that's what you're looking for. Just move it downfield safely through the interior. If something else happens other than 3 or 4 yards, that's gravy, but that's still a very nice play.
We talked about this Bees defense, and really led by a young sophomore, big kid, 6'7", 225, Bernard Buhake. Leads them with 5 sacks already this year, fumble recovery, 12 tackles for loss, and 4.5, or I should say 12 tackles, 4.5 for loss. Here's Crable, looks right, pump fake, now throws the fade, looking for Rixey. Ball tipped, he had it on a deflection for a moment, but could not corral it, and Dan sitting down, just clapping his hands. He knows that one got away.
Yeah, great presence there by the defensive back for St. Ambrose to get a look on that ball, get his arm out, and deflect the pass, because that was beautifully put there by Crable. And that'll be there again, so I wouldn't count that play out.
P.J. Dean comes back into the ball game now on 3rd down and 7. Cougars last week in Illinois were 10 of 15 for 67% on 3rd down opportunities. Trying to move the ball now down inside the 15 to the inside the 14-yard line to convert. Might be 4 down yardage area. Roll right by Crable, looking. Pump fake, gets by Moen, now runs inside the 20. Got to the 15, trying to tiptoe down the right sidelines. And we'll see if he's got enough. Now they're going to mark him out of bounds right at the 15, so to bring up 4th down. And about a yard and a half.
Offense stays on the field, Joe.
Hurry up offense now. Chris Smith protector, actually a wing to the right side. Here's a run by P.J. Dean in the middle, and he's got a chance. He'll score. On 4th and short, it's good for 15 yards, and the Cougars to the house with a touchdown at the 7:45 mark, courtesy of P.J. Dean.
Beautiful quick snap right there. That was almost scripted. You have to think the offense knew in this situation this is the play we're going to run, because it happened so fast the defense could not react in time, and the hole just blew wide open.
Well, you needed 2. You'll settle for 15 and a touchdown. And now Gardner trying to make it a 10-0 lead. Booms it on the way towards the upright, split him perfectly. And it's a 10-0 lead, and so far, all's well, going well for USF. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3, Northeast Indiana. Nothing. Number 1 ranked Saint Francis in the early lead here over St. Ambrose. Kevin Donley says the gauntlet starts today with the Bees, undefeated team, coming in here to Fort Wayne. Next week at St. X in Chicago. Then comes Marion. You think that's a circle date? 2 weeks from today. That's a night game, by the way, kicking off at 6 o'clock. Then later it's on to Concordia. They're undefeated. And over and kick again. This time it'll be a fair catch called in the end zone, so that one will come out, and the Bees will have a little better starting field position than they've had today.
Well, and again, that's what we kind of want to talk about during this break here. The special teams play from St. Francis is firing on all cylinders so far. They've really won the battle of field position, setting up their offense with a nice short field. So again, the defense sets it up, the kicking team is there, and the offense able to score 10 so far here in the first quarter.
That ball game last week, we talked a lot about the offense of St. Francis, Indiana. But Eric Dutton and Pearson Harnish, they each had 8 tackles, tied for the team lead in that category. And Dutton also had a tackle for loss. Cougars had 5 sacks in that ball game. Here is a play action pass, and it's incomplete. Pass was off the hands of Isaiah Hawkins, came into the flats right side.
Yeah, just a little hitch out there. And see, if he brings it down just a few more inches, that's a completion. I don't know how many yards after the catch that would have been, but quarterback needs to settle in, try and get more focus on those passes.
2 protectors in, and in front of them a little bit is Romani. Romani looks to hand to Hawkins, and he's wrapped up and dropped. And who was that got through there?
I think Eric Dutton. Big 39 comes in, shoots the gap, gets contained, and wraps him up before he can even think about trying to get to the edge and go north and south.
Sean, it's like he knew it was coming.
Yeah.
So a big loss of about 6 yards. 3rd down and 16 now. The ball back inside the 20 as the Bees try to fight their way out to their own 35 on this snap. Same set with 2 protectors in. High snap, bobbled a moment. Here's a catch one-handed by Hawkins and shreds 1 tackle, works to the 20-yard line. That'll be short of the first down stick. So again, it'll be 3 and out for the Bees, as they will have for the 3rd time today to punt the ball away.
Yeah, again, even that completion was only able to garner about 2 or 3 yards there, and they're playing behind the sticks, and the offense for St. Ambrose just cannot match the intensity nor the speed of the St. Francis defense.
Sigworth has been a busy guy already in this first quarter. He'll wait this time for the snap right at the 5-yard line of St. Ambrose. Kamakevich backs up to his own 45. Rush is coming, but got the kick away. Kamakevich at the 47, works to his left. It turns the corner and got to the 45, steps out of 1 tackle and dives down to about the 41. Wilmer Cole was trying to set up a block for him. And, you know, when you've had 3 penalties, and I'm talking about as a team, he was real conscious. He put his hands up. I'm letting this guy go.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Probably a safe thing to do. Yeah, looks to be about a nice 10, maybe an 11-yard return that time by Kamakevich. And, again, short field for the USF offense.
Clock at 6:18, time remaining here in the first quarter. Cougars now with Dylan Hunley that's checked into the ball game. P.J. Dean is the running back. He's offset to the right side of Matt Crable. Shotgun formation once again. Trips wide to the right side. Crable looks and wants to throw the ball. Looks sideline right. Here's a fingertip catch. And did Rixey get a foot in bounds? He did at the 22, and that is classic Dan Rixey.
Yeah, nice job. The side judge was there. Said that he was able to pull it in, and he did. So a fantastic athletic move that time by Rixey with a new fresh set of downs for St. Francis.
Just like that, Cougars set up now at the 22-yard line of the Bees. 1st and 10. They lead it 10-0. Gardner hitting the long field goal, and then the touchdown run by P.J. Dean from 15 yards out on 4th and down. Now here is a give. No, it's a play action pass again in the middle. That's Rixey. Steps around one. Will he get in?
Uh-oh.
Reached out. Did the ball pop free? And the Bees, I think, have got it.
I think they do.
They do at about their 1 yard line. And what happens so often, Sean, with the guys trying to get some extra yardage, kind of shifts that ball to one hand. And
yep.
That cost them.
Yeah, it came loose, and the Bees recovered. So a big defensive stop there by the Bees. And let's see what the offense can do for it here. 1st and 10 from their own 1 yard line. You have to think the defense might come out here a little chippy for USF. They did not get the rest that they were accustomed to. So it'll be interesting. Let's see what they do here.
So the Bees, is that the door that they've been looking for to be open to give them a chance to kind of catch their breath and come back now? As they've been blitzed by this Cougar offense, trailing at 10-0 early on. Still with over 5.5 minutes remaining. Deep in the end zone, here is the snap and a run to the right side. And did they get out? They did. They got a good spot of the ball just across the goal line.
Boy, I wish my banker was that generous because that was a gift right there. Yeah, St. Francis putting 9 in the box that time. And really, anyway, here it is, 2nd down.
Ethan Vanover in their defensive end. Jordan May is back after missing last week's game as well. Trying to throw out of the end zone. And here's Romani. Romani's going to be sacked. That will be a safety.
Initial pressure provided by Pearson Harnish on the backside. He came unabated to the quarterback there. The defense was there to swarm him over and stuff him. Huge sack that time and a safety for the USF defense.
So the Cougars tack on 2 to their total at the 5:06 mark. And with a timeout here at Darcy Stadium, it's 12-0 USF. Sounds like a baseball game going on. We'll be back. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, 106.3 FM. Did you see who made that? There was like 3 guys there.
Yeah, it was a scrum.
The Kelly Automotive Group is simple, transparent, reliable. Simple. Our customer specialists make buying a car easy and fun. Transparent. Our price listed is the best price. No hassle, no gimmicks. Reliable. Buy with confidence and peace of mind. We work hard to ensure the best value however you shop. Choose from over 60 vehicles under $10,000. Visit drivekelly.com. The Kelly Automotive Group. Simple, transparent, reliable.
On is USF ready to tee it up and kick it away. Well, actually, they'll receive the kick.
That's right.
On a safety. Now it's a free kick for the Bees. Coming from right to left, they can tee it up at their own 20-yard line. So the Cougars about to get the ball back once again offensively. Here comes a driving ball, bounding ball, picked up at the USF 43-yard line. And whistles blew right away. Let's see what this is about. Looks like the Cougars will have the ball. I'm just not quite sure where they're going to spot that ball. Did the knee hit?
That might have been the case, Joe. They're looking at the 44-yard line so far.
It will be 1st and 10, USF at its own 44-yard line. Apparently that was the case.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go down to field that ball like a shortstop and knee hits. It's not like the pros. You don't have the option of getting up. Nonetheless, though, that's pretty good field position. You'll take that any day of the week at your own 44. 5:05 remains here in this first quarter. Here's Crable wanting to throw again, looking, being pressured, steps up, steps out of trouble, spins, and got a couple of yards across the 45 to the 47, but another penalty flag coming up, and you know that's got to be a hold.
Yeah, the pocket dissolved very quickly that time as Crable was just kind of running for his life, trying to make something happen. And obviously one of the big uglies who was not able to contain the defense.
Now Crable, with his helmet off, is running over to the sidelines. I don't know if that's a chin strap problem or what. Chrisman's coming into the ball game, and I believe we're going to see Clay Cenarius come in for at least 1 or 2 snaps.
Yeah.
And Cenarius last week, 5 of 7 for 51 yards and a touchdown. And he hooked up with Janai Cooper with that really, really impressive and improbable catch in the end zone by Janai, who was boxed out and reached inside a defender and caught the ball.
Cenarius has a lot of snaps under his belt. Very confident in his abilities here.
206-pound junior at 6'4". Pistol lineman now looks to hand the ball off, and Wallace trapped up right when he took the handoff. He's going to lose a yard. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage, but that's about it.
Crable's equipment malfunction seems to be over, and he's going to be back in for the USF Cougars.
Still going to be second down and long. Nose of the football just inside the USF 35-yard line. Clock moving inside 4.5 minutes, time remaining. Corner's now playing well off.
Yeah.
Chrisman's in. Wide side to the left as Crable looks, play action fake, wants to throw again over the middle. He's got a man, there's a catch. That's Brookins, slides down, tripped up inside the 40 of the Bees. He's got a first down. So a good catch by that young man, very versatile. Nick Brookins, a sophomore running back, 200-pounder out of New Pal.
Nice job. We saw him check in just for that play. And again, hurry up offense from St. Francis now as they move the chains. They're ready to go.
Rixey back in, wide right side, Schmeling in the slot. Here's a Wallace off tackle, runs over one would-be tackler at the 30. Got another yard, maybe to the 29, depending on the spot, but that's going to be a gain of about 7 or 8.
Great edge block back that time by Brookins to get the defensive end off the running back, and he was able to cut it up for a nice gain that time.
Nate Carson now will check in. Brookins checks out. It'll be second down and short. Chris Smith now coming in off the bench as well. He's had a big catch already today. Crable says something to that young man. And here we go as the set was Schmeling in the slot to the right side. Give is to Wallace in the second level. Eli Wallace down, plunges to the 15-yard line.
Thought there might be an incidental face mask on that as it looks like his head was jerked back a little bit, but no call there. Still a great run, moving the chains inside the red zone.
Remember, no Justin Green today, at least no probability of seeing him. Coach thought that, well, got big games coming up. Till's trying to recover from that little bit of an ankle tweak last week in Illinois. Smith protector to the right side, and here is Crable to throw. Looked, being checked off, throws, and that's a high ball, deflected in the air, hung there, but finally drops it. Now a penalty flag, and let's see, maybe we're going to have a first penalty of the day against the Bees.
Yeah, so far it's been all St. Francis with the penalties, 4 holding calls for 40 yards.
Nope.
Number 78. 5-yard penalty, the previous spot. Go first.
Here's the interesting thing about Ryder Burkett. We were advised that in certain situations he may switch numbers today, wear number 90 as a tight end.
Right.
Fortunately, that wasn't one of those cases.
Yeah, that's right. So another penalty against USF pushes them back just outside the red zone stripe.
It will be first down, 1st and 15 with the ball at the 20. Smith checks out. Rixey comes back in. Carson stays in. Nate will be sent wide to the left. He'll be joined by Chrisman, who lines up tight to the left side. Crable out of the pistol now. Looks, hands the ball off. Here's Wallace. Wallace picks his way back to the 15. Yeah, they're going to mark him down to the 16.
There's another flag, Joe, just about the 23-yard line.
Somebody tell Matt Bushy, there are 2 teams playing today.
That's right. This one might go against Will Chrisman. He was out there. And it was kind of a late.
Number 11 on the offense.
You spotted it, Sean. It does go on Will. And the Cougars well on their way to mention that inauspicious 110 yards a game in average penalties.
Joe, they're going to blow it out today. I mean, they're already at 55 yards, and we're still in the first quarter.
We still got 2:43 to go.
My heavens.
Well, coach will say, we'll look at the scoreboard, though.
Yeah.
Okay, here come the Cougars up the line of scrimmage, but they're moving the other way. It's still first down. Ball back at the 30 now, 1st and 25. Too wide to the right side. Crable looking in the snap. The flag's right at the snap. It looks like 4 more going to walk it off the other way.
False start. 74 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Another sophomore, Reese Roney, going to be assessed that 5-yard walk-off for St. Francis.
Well, the big number is 12. That's where they're sitting at right now. The scoreboard, you know, it's all about wins and losses. But boy, oh boy, you would think at this point in the season, we know it's still early, but it's late enough where these should be cleaned up.
Yeah, no question about it. So first down and even longer. Here's a little draw play, late handoff. That's going to get minimal yardage to about the 31. B stayed at home, filled the middle on that run. P.J. Dean helps up the tackler. Good sportsmanship, as that was Sam Kabarek on the tackle.
Yeah, Dean had to try and scamper through the middle that time, and the draw really didn't work too well as the pressure from the line did not come as deep as what they may have anticipated.
Young team for the Bees. Defensively, start 3 seniors and 4 sophomores among their starting 11. 1:30 remains in the first quarter. Crable out of the gun. Low snaps, got it. In the pocket, looks right, checks off. Dean on the screen, works to the 25, to the 20, lowers the shoulder down to the 15-yard line, goes P.J. Dean. So all of that penalty yardage gotten back here. And it will be 3rd down and still 10 coming up, and obviously you got 4 downs to work with if you need it.
Well, nice job by Dean. He was wheeling out. He was the outlet pass. As Crable looked down the field, not really anything there, but he was alone, open in space. He was able to just loft it to him, and he wheeled out to get a nice gain and give the Cougars an opportunity here on 3rd and 10.
This Bees defense is tough. They had 6 sacks last week against Lindenwood Belleville, 1 interception and 11 tackles for loss. Blitz coming defensive right side. Crable, quick delivery. Rixey stops, spins, works inside the 10, gets it down close to the 5, and let's see if he should have enough, I think, for the first down. And they're going to move the chains. It'll be 1st and goal, USF.
Impressive. He needed 10, and he got 10 and a half. So right there at the 5, Rixey. That was a hard-fought 10 yards, but boy, he was spinning and churning, kept the feet moving, and doing a fine athletic job.
How'd you like how he stopped and let the defender commit before he made his second move?
Yeah, very smart.
1st and goal, nose of the football inside the 5. Cougars on top, 12-0 the final 20 seconds. They try to get one more play off with the win. 2 protectors in for Crable, motion Schmeling. And a counter run coming up. That's Wallace. Wallace walks into the end zone with 10 seconds remaining. Another score on the board for #1 ranked USF. That'll make it 18-0 on the 5-yard scamper. And Eli Wallace looking good.
It surely was. The Big Uglies up front did a fine job trapping that defense on the counter. And boy, he just walked right in with nary a hand on him. So nice job by USF. Coming back from some adversity caused by themselves with the penalties, but they were able to get it back. Huge first down by Rixey and a nice conversion to put 6 on the board.
Gardner ready with a right-footed kick, booms it through the uprights and good once again. 19-0 USF. Timeout down below. We'll step out as well. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF, 106.3 FM.
Parkview Sports Medicine is an integrated sports medicine team.
I mean, I always had my family behind me, I always had my team behind me, but to have staff that wanted the best for me and to get me feeling better the quickest was really reassuring.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
Here at kickoff, and a little more clouds in evidence. Still, all in all, just a great college football Saturday afternoon here in Fort Wayne. We mentioned good turnout coming over from Davenport to support the Bees, and they're still waiting for something good to happen. Right now it's 19-0 USF. We have just scant seconds remaining in this first quarter. Gardner with the win. Tees it up, end over end down the middle. And again, fair catch called in the end zone, so that'll come out. No time off the clock, and the Bees will have at least one more snap before the end of this first quarter.
Well, and the Bees might be looking forward to this quarter break so they can flip field. They've spent all their time on that side of the field.
They don't like it, Sean.
Yeah, something's got to happen. And so, again, that's a testament to that stout USF defense right there. Again, getting a safety here and in the first quarter and really harrying that quarterback and shutting down the edges. Again, hats off to that USF defense.
Miles McClendon is checked in defensively. Also Malachi Mannion defensively right side for USF. It will be 1st and 10. Here's Romani, looks and does throw the ball, and that's a ball knocked away. Good defense. In stepping in there, that was Marcus Stepp.
Standout from Dwenger was right there as the ball. He was not fooled with the fake, kept this man right there deep in the linebacker core and just swatted that ball away.
Listen to these stats from last year for Marcus Stepp. 39 tackles, 11 for loss, 4 sacks, 3 passes broken up, 3 passes defended, 4 quarterback hurries, 2 fumble recoveries, and yes, a block kick. Here's a run. That goes nowhere. Pearson Harnish there, but he had 3 of the silver helmets with him, and Pearson Harnish, that's going to be it for this first quarter. All USF. They're on top 19-0. We'll be back with quarter 2 action. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, 106.3 FM. Yeah, sure.
Oh, there's that breeze.
At the end of 1 quarter.
Work from left to right. Isaiah Hawkins is checked in as the running back now. The one back look, 2 wide either side of the field. Here's the draw. Hawkins steps out of traffic. He's across the 25 to about the 29-yard line, and it will bring up 4th down. So it'll be 4th down and about 4, and you would expect a punt coming up once again.
Yeah, I think they're too deep in their own zone here at the ball, resting at the 31-yard line. They really can't risk. They've given St. Francis a short field all day, so with this punt, if in fact they can limit the return, this might be one of the longer fields that St. Francis is looking at. But let's not discount Kamakevich on the return here.
Sigworth will wait for the snap at the Bees' 16-yard line. High snap, but he's got it. Right-footed kick, got it away, and they run into him. Now, was he blocked into him? Here's a bad kick. It's out of bounds at the USF 46 thereabout. There is a penalty flag, though.
I don't know if I'm not an official, and of course I'm probably biased towards USF. He took a long time to throw that flag.
Justin Groves, I believe, ran into him, and he was saying, I think he was blocked into him.
Oh, there's one on the far side of the field too, Joe.
So we'll have to wait for our referee, Matt Bushy, to sort this out. Early moments of the second quarter, 19-0 USF.
There are multiple penalties on the play. Offside on the defense, number 48 and 38.
That's decline, offsides.
In the kicker, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah, it is roughing the kicker, so that is a 15-yarder. And the penalty parade continues.
That's 75 yards on the day so far, and we are less than a minute into the second quarter. That's a feel-good stat right there, Joe.
In all fairness, though, that last one, I thought that maybe it was blocked into the kicker, but...
Well, and it was a bad snap, and the quarterback,
Yeah. Anyway, new life for the Bees, working now at their own 46. That's the best field position they've had of the day. Motion from right to left. They'll hand the ball off, and here's Osterberger back in there. He'll gain a couple. Gets it up across the 46 to the 47-yard line.
Nice penetration by Stepp that time to shed off a blocker and knife in there and really cut him out at the legs. and limit that gain.
Second and 9, to St. Ambrose 47-yard line.
Second down and 9, 13:54 remains in the half. Here's Romani again looking tripped up, and he threw the ball up and completes it at the USF 40-yard line. That was a stumbling play. Tanner Champley, who had 3 touchdowns, and makes the catch, and they are into USF territory. Makes a difference when you're coming with the wind behind you.
It surely does. New perspective, and St. Ambrose is rolling, putting together a drive here to start the second quarter.
Hurry up offense now, and Romani throws the ball in the out pattern's got a catch. Once again, that was Champley. Steps out of bounds at the USF 33-yard line. So again, the Bees trying to play fast. Osterberger leaves the ball game. That brings Isaiah Hawkins back in on second down and 4. 2 wide to the right. Champley in the slot to the right side. And here's Romani. He looks to hand it off. Hawkins trying to turn the corner. Does. But good recovery by USF defensively at their own 32. So a third down call coming up for the Bees.
Yeah, nice job of spreading that out by the defense and not allowing him to go north and south. Fascinating a couple of numbers here that we just got from Bill Scott on the first quarter stat show. We can talk about that in a little bit.
It'll be third down and 5. Bees trying to reach the 28-yard line on this snap. They might feel like they've got to go for it, though, regardless, trailing at 19-0. Romani, 2-step drop, looks, checks off. He's got a wide open left side, throws on the run, knocked away. Great defense. There was Ryan Johnson.
Beautifully timed stake on the ball by Johnson. Gets his paws out there and knocks that ball away. Critical fourth down, Joe. You talked about it. Let's see what the Bees are going to do here.
Vanover comes back in. It'll be fourth down and 5. Well, an offside might give them an automatic first down.
But even if they turn it over here, Joe, from a field position standpoint, that's not bad.
Romani trying to make a play, and they want to talk about it, I got to believe. So with 12:59 remaining in the first half, timeout on the field by St. Ambrose. All USF so far today, 19-0 our score. We'll be back. Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, 106.3 FM.
The Kelly Automotive Group is simple, transparent, reliable. Simple. Our customer specialists make buying a car easy and fun. Transparent. Our price listed is the best price. No hassle, no gimmicks. Reliable. Buy with confidence and peace of mind. We work hard to ensure the best value however you shop. Choose from over 60 vehicles under $10,000. Visit drivekelly.com. The Kelly Automotive Group. Simple, transparent, reliable.
Day and overnight retreats with over 70 rooms. Be sure to visit Our Lady in her grotto and walk the 30 scenic acres. You can visit their website at sfcatholiccenter.com to schedule your next meeting or retreat.
You know, I've often wondered, does God have a sense of humor?
He's got to look at us. Absolutely. You bet.
He put us here, right?
He chuckles every day.
Look at those guys.
That's right.
They don't have a clue.
Joe, we got a little bit of a timeout. There's a trainer on the field. I don't know what's going on there. But rushes, yardage for the St. Ambrose Bees in the first quarter. 6 rushes for 4 yards, 7 yards passing first quarter.
Now it's 4th and 5. They are going to go. They're going to roll the dice. Romani trying to make a play now out of the pistol. Long count, gives to Hawkins. No, it throws the ball. Here's a ball, and that's going to be.
Oh.
That's pass interference. As Stan Jackson, a little bit too much contact from the backside.
That was a quick developing play. Stan was on him, you know, like a cheap suit, but obviously from the back judge, a little too much on him. So that will convert. That's one of the very few first downs. They recorded no first downs in the first quarter. So now that they've swapped sides, they've got a drive put together here.
Bees will operate 1st and 10 from the USF 25, trying to score their first points of the day. 2 wide to the left, the wide side of the field for Romani. Out of the pistol again, and now it was all kind of moving up at the line of scrimmage. And let's see what we've got here.
Offside, 92 on the defense, 5-yard penalty.
Another penalty. That was Miles McClendon. Sean, what are the penalties now? It's got to be amazing in the first half.
Yeah, it's insane so far. I'm believing they are very close to 85 yards in penalties so far.
1st and 5 now. Again, the read option, quick throw, and they've got a catch, and they're close to a touchdown. Quick hitting play, Tom McCary on the receiving end, and was just a yard away from getting into the end zone.
Yeah, McCary did a fine job there on a little deep slant. So he was past the linebacker core and found that zone coverage hole in between the deep backs and the linebackers.
You got to be careful with this team. This is not a team that will go away. They will play to the end under Mike Magistrelli. Now they've got to look for Osterberger, and he is stacked up for a loss. As knifing through there, that was Mitchell Thornberry. Nice job by Thornberry, shaking off his tacklers, getting into the backfield right at the point of the mesh, and dropped him for a loss. As soon as Osterberger took that handoff, he was met by Thornberry. Now Romani again, looking, throws to this, and then's got the ball that's not caught. Then Stan Jackson had the coverage. This time there is no penalty flag. It'll bring up 3rd down and goal. No, it's great coverage too. Jackson was staring down that pass and ran right towards it. He has every right to be in the same spot, and he was going after the ball just like the receiver was. Everybody's standing around now. A late player change. And they're waving one player off, and it'll be McCary coming off. I'm a little surprised by that. It'll be 3rd down and goal with the ball back at the 4-yard line. Now they got Patrick Bond in there. He's 6'7", and they want to talk about it again. Want to try to make sure that they can get points on the board. 12:06 remains in the half. Timeout on the field, and we'll be back. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, 106.3 FM. Do the Bees even have one penalty? They don't, do they? I don't think so. Nope, not in the first quarter. Yeah. Well, through the end of the first quarter, Sean McBride tells us the Cougars had 7 penalties for 97 yards already. And the Bees, Sean, how many did they have? 0 for 0, Joe. Cleanest game ever. Wow. 19-0. It'll be 3rd down and goal from the 4-yard line. Coach Magistrelli's had his say with his offensive line and troops. They'll bring Osterberger back in there as the running back. McCary back in. He's flanked out to the right side. And tight trips to the left and motion back from left to right out of that. And here is Romani looking, steps up, still looking, throws the ball, and that's dropped. Boy, that was a sure touchdown. Tanner Champley could not find the handle. That was a high, hard one to him. Incomplete. It'll be 4th down. And now, do you go for 3 or? Points on the board. I don't know what coach is going through in his mind right here, but the offense right now appears to stay on the field. 4th and 4. Wow. Champley clapping his hands. He will set up slot left. Cougars trying to play a 4th down stop right here. Osterberger in, offset to the right, a little bit behind Romani, drops the throw, looks, scrambles to his right, looking, gets by one, throws in traffic, has got a catch for a touchdown. If it stands up, was there a penalty flag thrown? There should have been one. I cannot see one on the field right there, but the lineman holding the backside pressure was holding on for dear life against number 97, Jamesich, right there. My goodness, it wasn't called. I think it's going to stand, Joe. 4-yard touchdown to Osterberger from Romani at the 11:53 mark, and some D's are like that. You've got to play more than 11. So they get on the board with this touchdown pass, 4 yards. Now the extra point by Gillen with the low line drive. It is good, though, across the crossbar. And they are on the board, the Bees are, with a touchdown to make it 19-7 with a timeout down below. And this is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, 106.3 FM.
Every minute of Cougar football action this season on Redeemer Radio, 106.3 FM.
Well, we will see how the Cougars respond now offensively, getting the ball back as that run of 19 straight points ends. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, it'll be a Shawnee Construction halftime show, and Sean will have a look at the official numbers. This is a key series, really, because now the Bees have got a little confidence in themselves that they've got points on the board. They'll be fired up defensively. We'll see how USF responds, working a little bit against the wind. Here's the kickoff down the middle. That's Komakevich, back pedals inside the 10. Brings it near side 15-20. Working hard and dropped at the 26-yard line.
I think that was Romani on the tackle, unless they're doing double numbers.
Yeah, I think that's Colin Etherton.
Yeah, there it is, Colin Etherton. Yep. All right, so number 12 making the stop there for St. Ambrose. Again, that's their second kickoff, other than the safety, which would make it their third. So again, this is the Cougars working right to left now.
Dylan Hunley will come back into the ball game now, as USF. Some of their worst starting field position of the day, back inside their own 30-yard line, moving right to left as Crable waits for the snap, has got it, hands the ball off, cut right side. Here's P.J. Dean looking for some running room, fights off one tackle, pushes the pile up to about the 34-yard line, and I'll tell you what, that young man is going to get a 9-yard gain. Surely, well, he had some help from the blockers, obviously, but pushed enough for the last 2 or 3 yards.
Very patient, great vision back there. That was the longest running 9-yard scamper that they've made today, because Dean was picking and choosing and moving sideways, doing a nice job just etching his way down the field.
Chrisman and Hunley are the wideouts near side, one wide to the right on second down and short. And here again, Crable hands the ball off and trying to pick his way for a first down across the 35 up to about the 38-yard line. P.J. Dean again on the call.
Nice and conservative with the right result. They wanted a first down, gives a fresh set of downs. And again, they started at the 25, now just shy of the 40.
No Justin Green today. Eli Wallace has run well. P.J. Dean recently as well. Now we see Brickens check back into the ball game. Rocky James as well. Brickens will be used as a wideout. He's the slot man to the right side, flanked out there, and outside of him is Rocky James. And here is Crable out of the gun, looking to put the ball in the air. Pump fake, wants to throw. He's got Rocky James in between defenders across midfield and down to the 47-yard line.
Beautiful play by Pat Donley right there. Nice job for the offense. The pump fake and the double move was on display, but then he just held up, and Crable was able to fire right in between the short back and the deep back.
And Sean, what impressed me is that was pretty well defended. They had Rocky James well bracketed front and rear, and Crable had to be right on the money with that pass in the gap, and Rocky James was there to make the play. 1st and 10. Here's Crable again, looking, throws on the middle. He's got Rocky James at the 25, 20, spins off a tackle inside the 15, cuts to his left, and is that a horse collar tackle? Down to the 14-yard line, Rocky James.
Very athletic move, good yards after the catch by James. They're inside the red zone. They mark him down at the 15-yard line. And again, Joe, I think you're right. I thought he got him around the back. But again, no call.
10:06 remains. 1st and 10 at the 15. Here's P.J. Dean weaving his way up the middle, dragging tacklers inside the 5 and down to the 2-yard line goes P.J. And hey, is that another piece of yellow laundry on the carpet? How unusual today.
And it is. Again, another late flag comes out. This one thrown by the referee.
Come on, guys. Holding.
Wow.
That's Landon Myers whistled for the hold, so that takes away the nice run by P.J. Dean. And that'll move the ball back outside the 22-yard line, where it will be first down. Cougars could pick up a first down without scoring, somewhere around inside the 6 at about the 5-yard line. But now they've got the full complement of downs to work with. First down. Nate Carson will check in wide to the right side. And here we go. Crable spreads the field, 2 wide either side of the field. P.J. Dean offset to the right. Crable to throw. Looks down the middle. That one, wow. That was sailed on him a little bit, and right where 2 defenders were crisscrossing.
Again, throwing into the wind. That one got elevated from him. He was going for, looks like, I believe, number 1 out of the slot for the University of St. Francis.
You're not going to say that name, are you? Kamakaevich. No, Joe, I'll let you
That's right.
wade into that minefield.
Yeah.
Second down with the ball still at the 22-yard line. Crable comes over, and who's that guy with the headset on? Nick Ferrer. He may know a few things about playing quarterback, right?
That's right.
The All-American, 2-time defending national champs. Again, too wide to the right this time. Crable hands the ball off. PJD nicely steps by 1 and then gets tripped up from behind. Good defensive play that time by one of the linebackers in there. That was Liam Kelly, 210-pound sophomore. That was what we were seeing a lot of happening last week, Sean, in Illinois against USF Illinois. Justin Green was looking like he had some openings, and he would get tripped up and caught from behind because of that kind of a 8 men, 9 men in the box defense used by the Fighting Saints.
Yeah, and again, if you're playing that offside, that backside D end properly, then you're running parallel to the line of scrimmage instead of backpedaling.
3rd down and 12 with the ball at the 17. Cougars in 4-down yardage area if necessary. Here's Crable, looks the out pattern. He's got Kamakaevich off a tackle, fighting for the 10. He'll be short of the first down stick. Now a decision for Coach D. You're going to be still about 4, maybe 5 yards away. Do you bring in Gavin Gardner for the field goal, or do you roll the dice? And it looks like they're going to stay with the offensive unit.
Rixey and James coming out now for the USF Cougars.
And Schmeling as well. And Chrisman now checks in late as well.
Wow.
And that will be for Chris Smith. No, they want to stay. No, Rocky James comes out.
Okay.
It'll be 4th down and a long 5. Again, the Cougars can convert inside the 6, somewhere around the 5-yard line. And now I think St. Francis is going to talk things over with 8:11 remaining. Here in the first half, still 19-7. Cougars scored the first 19 points of the ball game. The Bees with a touchdown since, and we're back in 30 seconds. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM.
Concussions. They're a concern for parents of athletes in any sport. That's why Parkview Sports Medicine is leading the way with the area's first concussion clinic. Our integrated sports medicine team utilizes an innovative, evidence-based approach to manage athletic-related head injuries in those 14 and older, providing comprehensive care to get the athlete you love safely back in play. To schedule an appointment, call Parkview Sports Medicine at 266-4007. Reaching higher, pushing further. Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
According to Coach Kevin Donley today, St. Ambrose today, and you've got the all-Cougar ball game next Saturday. 2 o'clock Fort Wayne kickoff time in the Windy City, 1:45 on Redeemer Radio. And right here, the Cougars have got 4th down and 5, a long 5, trying to make a play right now. 2 wide to the left, including Rocky James and Schmeling in the slot as Crable looks, now throws over the middle. Crossing pattern is there, and they've got themselves a touchdown. If it stands up, you never know. Dan Rixey with a touchdown, and that one's good for 15 yards.
Beautiful job by St. Francis. Love the play call. Rixey was the wide receiver at the top of your screen, and he was dragging across the middle after the zone was cleared by the slot receiver. He was wide open over the middle. The linebackers didn't see him, and he trots into the end zone very easily.
You know, that looks strange because it was a late developing play, and Rixey was just basically by himself in the middle. Here's Gavin Gardner's kick on the way, and it is good. At 1, so the Cougars answer the score by the Bees with one of their own. 26-7 with a timeout here at Darcy Stadium. Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, 106.3 FM. Good call, Rob. trust me, folks, this doesn't happen by accident. Robert Score in the studio, just always aware what's going on. Love you, Robert.
Doesn't get any better.
He's going on vacation next week. We'll have Doug Jones working for us the next couple of weeks.
We'll suffer through it.
Memo, that was McBride. Sean McBride.
Love you, Doug.
Gardner kicks off, end over end down the middle. Fair catch is called once again at the 2. So that's the new rule you've got in college football. You can call the fair catch and it comes out.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that caught me by surprise.
Indeed.
So here come the Bees now, 1st and 10. They've scored their last possession on a 4th down call, and a good 4th down and goal at the 4. As Romani found Osterberger on a little crossing pattern into the end zone.
Well, we know that the side of the field has certainly helped St. Ambrose, as they weren't able to do anything in the first quarter, able to do something here in the second. Let's see if they can continue.
Cougars just one safety back as here's a rollout and a throw to the right side. Good defense. Catch is made on that Patrick Bond, 6'7". He is a big target. You can't miss him. And that play's good for about, well, just about a yard only.
Yeah, not much there. You would think that they would get more, but Marcus Stepp with a very nice open field tackle was not fooled by the rollout and did a fine job of the execution.
You know, Sean, Romani had such a deep drop on that rollout that what looked like a 5-yard gain was 1. Here's a quick hitting play and no good. Again, they were looking for Bond at 6'7". He's easy to spot, but incomplete, and just like that, it's 3rd down and 9.
Well, yeah, and Javicic there provided some nice pressure right up the middle as Romani had to pick himself up off the carpet after the throw.
Matthew Couvert going to check into the ball game now for the Bees. Champley's back in wide right. Coleman will come up. Wilmer Cole will come up and press coverage on him. Now 2 safeties back for St. Francis. They've got 3 down defensive linemen. Shotgun formation, Romani. They pinch in. They've got him. Steps out and then dropped at the 21-yard line.
Wow.
Pressure came early and late.
Sure did. Nice job of the D-ends to pinch that time. The late pressure, the backer had to pick that up, and that left the free D-ends to come in and make a great sack.
Malachi Mannion with the sack and had some help with his friends. Loss will bring up 4th down and 13 with still over 7 minutes remaining in the half. Sigworth in. He'll be looking into the sun somewhat. And Komakevich inside his own 40. High snap, and it's in over his head and got the kick away. It's blocked to the side, and it's still loose ball at the 5-yard line, and USF will have it right there.
Wow, great pressure again by USF. The special teams really firing on all cylinders today for the St. Francis Cougars, but it all started with that high snap.
Tell you what, Sigworth lucky to even have a chance at getting that kick away. And it'll be 1st and goal for St. Francis just outside the 5 of St. Ambrose. Cougar offense a little bit late getting onto the field now with 6:48 remaining in this first half. Cougars had a 19-0 lead at the end of the first 15 minutes. Landon Myers brings him out at center, getting ready to snap that ball to Matt Crable. Eli Wallace in with Chris Smith. They are 2 protectors either way, flanked either side of Crable. Motion right to left behind the line of scrimmage. Crable to throw. Looks for the quick slant. And 1 play, 1 touchdown. Just like that. I think that's Rocky James out there with the catch.
Yeah.
6 yards officially at the 6:44 mark.
Boy, Crable throws a pretty ball. Little deep slant there. And he hit him right in stride, right on the numbers. And a beautiful conversion that time by the USF Cougars offense.
That did not take long. 32-7 now. On that quick slant pass to the right, they fake the handoff. Gardner with a right-footed kick. And that's off the upright, no good. So it will stay 32-7 here in Fort Wayne with a timeout down below. Sun very much in presence right now, and it's going to be in the 80s as we return to Darcy Stadium. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, 106.3 FM.
Welcome to the University of St. Francis, located in the heart of Fort Wayne, Indiana. where the Cougar basketball programs have won 2 national championships and finished runner-up twice since 2010. And the Cougar football program is fresh off a 2016 national championship. USF is a 3-time gold-level Champions of Character institution, one of only 12 NAIA schools to earn that distinction. The University of Saint Francis provides you the opportunity to get a great education while competing for championships.
3 back in kick return. Don't often see that in football as Gardner puts the foot into the kick now down the middle, and this will be taken at the 1. Again, fair catch will be called. And St. Ambrose will go back to work offensively, 1st and 10.
Well, again, Joe, I think after these last couple series, if there was any wind left in the sails for St. Ambrose, it might be out. Now, again, they had a 3-and-out. They had a high snap, and the ball was covered up, and then a quick strike by the USF offense. And it's got to be tough. Again, their quarterback wound up on the turf last time. Romani took a shot by Jamesic, and it's got to be tough. They're grinding at 32-7 right now, and we're still in the first half. So it's got to be tough being a Fighting Bee at this point.
Look at Romani last week against Lindenwood Belleville. Threw for 305 yards, so the ability is certainly there. And in a long game, you never know. Remember, 3 straight years these teams violate delay of game by the Bees now. And I think you're ready for this. Can it be?
It might be. Yeah, I think you're right.
But
no, wait, they have to discuss it. So are they literally looking for a reason not to throw this flag?
Matt Busher with 2 of his officials. And a long discussion. Let's see if we are going to have that penalty.
Nope.
Going to pick up.
Wow.
5-yard penalty.
No, I think he's wrong on that.
Yeah.
He's so used to saying St. Francis penalty.
Yeah. He's been conditioned.
But that one does go against the Bees, so that'll be their first of the day. And 1st and 15 with the ball back at the 20-yard line. 2 protectors in for Romani. Threw for 305 yards. Pearson Harney shows blitz up the middle. And here's a run. Osterberger trying to find some running room and looking to weave his way around a lot of blue shirts. And we'll get maybe a yard up to about the 21.
Yeah, I think Ethan Vanover was there, 6'3", 235-pound sophomore from his DN position to wrap him up along with Harnish.
You know, looking at Stan Jackson, he's down there and he's talking to one of the Bees receivers. And don't get me wrong, Stan is just a guy, he likes to talk, he enjoys it. He's always got a smile on his face. He just loves football.
Yeah.
Now they may have changed the play call at the line of scrimmage. 6:06 remains. Here's a give up the middle, not much there. Gang tackle, Thornberry was there, Jamesic as well.
Boy, and you know, that's a testament to the down lineman for St. Francis, because St. Ambrose really hit that hole very hard, had a lead blocker, and still they're not able to accomplish much of anything.
Gain was only up to their 23-yard line, so now it's 3rd down and 12 as St. Ambrose tries to reach their own 35-yard line. On this snap, Romani 2-step drop, steps up, screens the ball left side. Here's Osterberger, runs but short of the 1st down. Good job. He got it up to the 33-yard line, but 2 yards short. We'll bring up 4th down call coming up for St. Ambrose.
Well, good decision by Romani that time to hit his outlet pass because nothing else was really there. And do we have a player down?
Trainer's coming out. I don't see anybody.
Oh, yeah, no. I think it's Wilmer Cole.
Yeah, he's seated on the turf. We're going to keep things right here while we have an injury timeout.
Yeah, it's a hot day. There might be a cramping issue down there.
Hope it's nothing more than that. And the same way with Justin Green, who went out with an ankle last week at Joliet in that ball game. Coach D stressed he is available if they would need him. Of course, when you're looking at 19-0 lead in the end of the first quarter, it seems like a safe bet. But
yeah, take a day off.
Again, with big games coming up after today at St. X next week, always a tough place to go into. And then 2 weeks, how about, you think Marion's got the 2 weeks from today circle date on their calendar?
Oh, twice. You bet they do.
Cougars have done so well against Marion, but here it's been, if they've had a little bit of an Achilles heel at times, it's been in this stadium against the Knights. It'll be 4th down and 3. And Wilmer looks like he's okay. He just came really walking off the field under his own power. But it looks like the Bees are going to run a play here at their own 33-yard line.
Wow.
4th down and about 3. And it is a kick, though, by Romani. Nobody back. That'll take a Bees bounce inside the 15, still rolling down to inside the 10. And down it comes to the 5-yard line. And so the Cougars will start this series deep in their own territory with 4:59 remaining in the first half, 95 yards away from trying to tack on to this 32-7 lead.
Well, good decision by St. Ambrose on a little quick kick that time. And nice job. Romani's got a nice leg and put a nice roll into it. So this is by far the longest field that St. Francis has looked at here on offense.
Sean with us today, and we'll be trying to get some halftime comments from Coach Donley.
I will say, Joe, I'm going to take my time coming up those steps, though.
I'm timing you.
Well.
P.J. Dean in as the running back, offset to the right of Matt Crable. They'll hand the ball to P.J. Looks to cut to the right. Did not find much. Maybe got about a half a yard. That's about it. Well, they're going to give him about a yard and a half.
Wow.
So that'll bring it out across the 5 and right at the 7-yard line. Got a pretty good spot on that. Is that Brickens coming in? Again, it will be Nick Brickens. 5'10" sophomore running back out of New Pal High School. Crable again on 2nd down and a long 8. Short drop, throws near side. Chrisman with the catch. Steps out of a tackle at the 15. Straight yards another at the 20. Stepped out of bounds about the 23-yard line. And Will Chrisman is one of those emerging, you know, he's got the size and looks of a Seth Coate.
Yep.
And he is coming.
That's right. It's his junior year. Chrisman stands 6'6". So when he gets that stiff arm out there, that's a good 4 feet. If he can be effective with it, he can get some additional yards after the catch, and did a great job of stepping out of one there, too, and gives the Cougars a first down.
Cougars have it 1st and 10 at their own 24-yard line now. And Crable barking out the signals once again. Quick look. Now the draw. Hands it off. P.J. Dean scampers to his left. 30, 35. He's got some open field in a foot race. 40, 30, 25, 20. And barring no penalties, it's a touchdown run of 76 yards by P.J. Dean to the house.
Just beautiful. He bounced it outside, no flags, and a huge hit to the house for St. Francis. We talked about no wind in the sails for St. Ambrose. Now there's no water under the boat. Good heavens, St. Francis is on fire.
Well, my score sheet blew away. I've retrieved that. Wind's coming up, so 76 yards. P.J. Dean had 5 rushing touchdowns 2 years ago. Did not play last year. Cougars were short a man now on the extra point to try. And their lead grows to 38-7 pending the extra point conversion. And I'm not so, that is Gavin Gardner. Had one go off the upright, this time with a quick kick, and that one is good. So add 1 to the total with 3:38 remaining, 39-7. Silver and blue ranked number 1 in the nation and looking good right now. This is Cougar football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana. With Sean McBride, welcome back to Darcy Stadium here in Fort Wayne. Cougar lead grows to 32 points now, and there'll be another kickoff coming up from right to left by the Cougars.
The offense is putting up some tasty numbers here in the first half, Joe. And what we've seen here on this last couple drives is that the penalties have seemed to be subsided, but I know they're still well over 100. That was a really rough first quarter and a huge rough start to the second.
We're going to have to check and see what the record is during a game. Here's a fair catch called for right at the 1-yard line by Hawkins. So again, Bees will take every yard they can get to set up 1st and 10 with 3:38 remaining on the clock here. Other games going on elsewhere today. St. X was playing at Lindenwood Belleville. We'll see the Cougars. It'll be all Cougars next Saturday in Chicago. Taylor visiting Trinity International Siena Heights. They are home today to Robert Morris. Olivet Nazarene is up in Michigan, and Ann Arbor to go against Concordia, and Missouri Baptist on the road against Wisconsin River Falls. Jake Romani stays in there at quarterback, and they will have 2 wide to the right side. Here's a play, and that's picked off, and there's Wilmer Cole, and he's going to go to the end zone, second week in a row with a pick 6. Boy, he read that one perfectly, and I've got it 28 yards on the pick 6 return.
He's going to wear that chain. A pick 6 for Wilmer Cole. Stepped right in front of it. Unfortunately, Romani telegraphed that pass on the backside. Cole was there. He was on it and just ran it right into the end zone. Beautiful play.
Boy, you get to the point where you'd like to bottle some of these for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But looking good right now, the Cougars offensively and defensively hitting on all cylinders as Gardner. He's been a busy guy with that right leg, and Lofts went on the way again, end over end, and it is good. And that'll be the 46th point of the first half by USF. And I don't think Kevin Donley expected this, because we thought we were looking for just a knockdown, drag-on fight against the Bees. Yeah, it's 10-1 as far as the series, lifetime series, but more often than not, we mentioned 3 straight years, Sean, these games were decided in the final minutes by 1 point either way.
And you know what the difference, obviously player personnel, the Saint Francis Cougars really haven't changed things up much on offense. We see a lot of the standard USF plays here, so the talent level continues here for USF. We know St. Ambrose is fielding a young squad, and so it just has to come down to the guys on the field. And there we see the chain coming out, going around Wilmer's neck right there on the sidelines. And there he is.
He's enjoying that, isn't he?
He's getting some love from the crowd. There you go.
And you know Stan Jackson's got to be somewhere nearby, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So Cougars will kick it away again from right to left. Don't forget, we still have 30 minutes in the second half. Here's a ball going off the side of the foot and out of bounds. That'll be a penalty, and the Bees will benefit. They can take the ball 1st and 10 at their own 35.
And it looks like they will not re-kick. They'll take the extra 10 yards that normally they've been given, and they'll come out on offense here.
By the way, see Jordan May coming out in the field. He actually made the trip, but in civvies last week. He's had that kind of a chronic back injury. Miles McClendon, 265-pound sophomore D lineman in there. Malachi Mannion played a lot last year. Had 28 tackles. 2 tackles in Illinois last week is in there. Ryan Johnson also into the secondary. And Jalen Moss, who the Cougars are on very high on at one of the safeties. And here's the read option. Here's Isaiah Hawkins trying to run wide to the left and chased down by number 9, Pearson Harnish. Very tough to get around that guy.
Yeah, the initial hit was provided by Marcus Stepp, number 31 for St. Francis, and that caused him not to turn but to continue north and south, and the speed on display by Pearson Harnish just to wrap him up and drive him into the carpet. Boy, oh boy.
And Sean, Hawkins, he's got quicks.
Yeah, he does.
But he just couldn't get around the corner. Matt Swartz also in there now defensively. Loss of a couple, 2nd down and 12. We're inside of 3 minutes time remaining first half. Romani, high snap, one hands the ball, and he's gobbled up immediately.
Look at that. I got to find out who did it. He grabbed both the quarterback and the tailback that time.
Somebody's got to have the ball right.
On that play, that's exactly right. I think that was Miles McClendon who wrapped them both up and dropped them for a loss.
So 3rd down, even a bit longer. 3rd and 13 now. They credit Swartz with getting in there.
Okay.
Can't.
The pocket just dissolved so fast.
Romani's got to be thinking every snap now, and does hand the ball off. Here's Hawkins with trying to get some of that yardage back. Did fight his way up to the 34, but pushed way back. Again, defender Jordan May got A lot of help. It'll be 4th down 11 and inside of 2 minutes remaining, but the Cougars about to get the football back once again in this first half. And can you imagine, Mike Magistrelli's got to be wondering what is going on out here. Came in undefeated, and he thought, I know he felt that he had a chance to be competitive, and indeed, next 30 minutes of this ball game, it may well turn that way, but so far it's been all silver and blue in this first half. Sigworth waiting, high snap, and it got past him again. Got to chase it down, and it'll be Cougar ball at the 5-yard line. And boy, they've got some problems with their punt team.
That they do. Yeah, it's a tale of two tapes here, as the special teams unit for Saint Francis has been sterling all day, and the St. Ambrose special teams unit has really been struggling.
Now, Sean, you got a little bit of a quandary for Coach D. Again, you got to put things in perspective. With 1:22 remaining in the half, you're up 46-7. You have all the respect in the world about this St. Ambrose team. Matt Crable does come out to quarterback, but you got to realize you got another 30 minutes. And
sure.
Remember Taylor a couple of years ago?
We were there. Yeah.
Cougars had a big lead, and they were scrambling to hold on at the end. So you never know in college football.
That'll be a good question for Coach D at halftime.
Rixey comes in to the right side. Here is Wallace. Wallace wrapped up at the 5, got another yard to the 4.
35, Eli Wallace.
Will Crispin's going to help up as running back. His clock approaching 1 minute.
Also, from a strategic standpoint, we have to balance here the health of the team, but also Coach D already talked about entering the gauntlet. Okay, so your number ones need snaps. It looks like they're firing on all cylinders today, but do you keep them healthy and give them the rest of the afternoon off, or do you keep them in there and keep giving them reps? That is the question. That's the scales that you're looking at from a coaching perspective.
Right now, the number ones remain in there. Chris Smith stays up in the wing to the left side. Kamakevich slot left. Here's the give to Wallace. Wallace looking for some running room. Drags tacklers down inside the 3, got to the 2-yard line. And now the clock running inside of 30 seconds time remaining. Crable took a look over his left shoulder, saw that game clock with 23 seconds now. They've not taken a timeout. Cougars have got 1 remaining. Now we're down to 16. Trying to get one more play off if they can. Crable barking out the signals, looks again to Wallace. Wallace tries to break it off, trying to dive in. There's a penalty flag thrown. It's a touchdown if it stands. So Wallace officially from 2 yards out. But let's see what we have here by the crew that loves to throw yellow flags here today at Fort Wayne.
We've got 6 seconds remaining, so it's not the end of the quarter yet. It probably is going to be a penalty assessed. I'm sure it's probably going to be holding. It'll be against USF. No shock there. I mean, he hasn't made the call, but
Cougars are backing up. That's a clue.
Yeah.
Holding. 72 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. The final foul. 3rd down.
I'll tell you, Matt Bushy so used to calling USF penalties today. Even when the Bees had a penalty, he said Cougars.
He said St. Francis, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they'll have time for one play, I believe. Crable did check to the sidelines. The ball comes back to the 12-yard line. 6 seconds on the clock. And unless it's a really quick-hitting play, this is probably going to do it for the end of the first half. Chrisman splits wide to the left. Kamakevich up on the slot left side. And here is the give. And they want to run Wallace. Wallace cuts to his left side, trying to turn the corners, not going to get it done. That time chased down. Pretty good defensive time, that job that time. Chased down as we've come to halftime. Reed Roulette made credit for that, probably a touchdown saving tackle. In fact, he's down on 2 knees. Might have got tripped up or maybe hurt in that area where when you go down, you tend to feel it very much. But a big first half for St. Francis. The crowd enjoying it here at Darcy Stadium, on their feet applauding. 46 first half points by USF. They lead St. Ambrose by 39. Headed to intermission, and we'll step out. We'll be back with our Shawnee Construction halftime show. Stay with us as Sean will have a look at the numbers, and we'll recap all the scoring as well. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
we should probably do Shawnee when we come back from this break, don't you think? Football fans, Shawnee Construction and Engineering is our halftime sponsor. They are a full-service construction firm that meets and exceeds expectations with a 94% repeat and referral business. When we say partnering for a lifetime, we mean it. That's Shawnee Construction and Engineering.
Thank you, sports team.
That's me.
Sean McBride with us today. Great to have him back. And Cougars doing their thing. The #1 ranked team in all of NAIA. Got on the board with 19 first quarter points. They had 27 more in the second quarter and lead here at halftime over the St. Ambrose Bees by a halftime score of 46-7. It all started on a 27-yard field goal by Gavin Gardner. That's his first of the year. And at the 10:42 mark, Cougars, who won the toss, deferred, forced St. Ambrose to go 3 and out and on the board with that 27-yard field goal to lead it 3-0. Then P.J. Dean with a 15-yard touchdown run. It was a 4th and 12 situation, and P.J. Dean to the house with the first of 2 nice touchdown runs by that young man at the 7:45 mark. Extra point Gardner, 10-0, blue and silver. Then a fumble recovery gave the ball actually in the end zone. It resulted in a safety. I don't know if we have credit for that. Who got the credit for that safety? We'll take a look perhaps, see if we find anything in the scoring maybe.
We're going to keep an eye on things here. Let me look for that, Joe, while you continue going down there.
Okay, that was a safety at the 5:06 mark. 12-0 USF. That meant the Bees had the kickoff. And indeed, they kicked off to the Cougars, who worked it downfield and set up Eli Wallace for his first touchdown run of the ball game, good for 5 yards. That came with just 10 seconds remaining. Gardner with the extra point. Just like that, it was 19-0 USF. We move to the second quarter. 4th down stop. And it was a penalty that gave new life to the St. Ambrose Bees, and they would work the ball downfield. And on a 4th down call, Romani scrambling to his right, he would find running back Osterberg just across the goal line for a touchdown, the first of the day. Gillen at the extra point, and the Bees were on the move, on the board, trailing at 19-7. But from there on out, it was all Matt Crable and the Cougar offense. First, passing 15 yards to Dan Rixey on a nice play at the 8:05 mark. Gardner again adding the extra point to make it 26-7. Then after a big sack, they took over at the 6-yard line. One play later, Crable to Rocky James. Good for 6 yards on a touchdown play at the 6:49 mark. Extra point hit off the upright, no good by Gavin Gardner. Remained 32-7, but it was set up a long touchdown run. P.J. Dean cutting to his left and down the left sidelines and all the way to the house. 76-yard touchdown run at the 3:38 mark. Gardner did add the extra point, 39-7. And Wilmer Cole, like he did last week, anticipating, cutting in front of the would-be receiver to the house with a pick 6 interception at the 3:31 mark. Gardner with the extra point. That's where we are here at halftime at 46-7. We will come back and we'll take a look at some of the numbers. Bill Scott will be bringing us up to date on all the numbers of the first half. We'll check in with some of the other action going on elsewhere, but so far today, everything going silver and blue as they lead it 46-7 here at halftime. We'll step out. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM.
6 carries for 8 yards. Champley had a carry for -1 yard. Romani net -6 yards, so he tackled for loss there on multiple occasions on 3 carries. Through the air, Romani again, 18 attempts, 8 completions, and 1 interception for 61 yards total. He was sacked 3 times. Through the air, he hit Champley twice, Osterberger twice, and Macari once, and Himmelman once as well. Again, the most active player was their punter, Sigworth. He had 3 kicks, 107 yards total, and an average of 35.7 on the day. When we look at the St. Ambrose defense, Roulette, he had 4.5 tackles. Romani had, can't be right, the defender wearing number 12 for St. Ambrose. It's not actually Romani. Sorry about that. We got that stat mixed up there. Holmes had 3 tackles, and Greg Burnett had 2 tackles. Now, for the University of Saint Francis Cougars, when we look at their 46 points on the board, how did it happen? They had 16 first downs, 22 rushes for 190 yards in the first half, 244 yards through the air. Grable went 13 completions on 15 attempts and no interceptions. That is phenomenal. Absolutely. So total offense for the first half for your St. Francis Cougars, 37 plays, 434 yards so far. Punt returns, 4 punt returns for 80 yards. Kickoff returns, 1 for 17. Interception returns, 4 yards. 1 interception return for 34 yards there. Penalty yards, 12 penalties, 150 yards. Possession time is outflanking St. Ambrose by 5 minutes, 17 and a half there. Third down conversions, 1 of 5. Again, they weren't put in many third down situations at all. Fourth down conversions, they're 100% 2 for 2 in the red zone. 5 scores on 6 chances that way. P.J. Dean had 10 carries for 132 yards. Eli Wallace, 10 carries for 59 yards. Dean has 2 touchdowns. Wallace has 1 touchdown. Crable ran it for 5 yards, and Schmeling had -6 on his runs there. Again, through the air, Matt Crable, outstanding first half. 13 completions on 15 attempts for 244 yards and 2 touchdowns with a long of 41. He distributed it to the following gentlemen. Dan Rixey had 4 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown. Rocky James had 3 catches on 52 yards and 1 touchdown. Schmeling had a 41-yard reception, and Brickens had a 21-yard reception. That does it for the big numbers there, Joe. Again, punt returns, Kamakevich, 3 punt returns for 64 yards and a long of 35, and Malachi Mannion had 1 for 16 yards. On the kick return, it was Kamakevich again with a 17-yard return. On the defensive side of things, Eric Dutton is your tackle leader, has 5 total tackles. Pearson Harnish came in with 3.5. Schumacher with 2.5, and Thornberry 2.5, and Thornberry also credited Joe there with the safety as well. So that does it for your first half stats.
Cougars with 434 yards of total offense in this first half in a dominating first 30 minutes as we wait for some of the specialists to come back onto the field and getting this second half underway. And we'll be checking some of the other numbers as we get ready. We'll take a look at some of the numbers coming in for these two teams. The Cougars came in averaging 45.5 points a ball game. That was 3rd best among all MSFA teams. And as far as scoring defense, both teams came in. Remember, the Bees were giving up only about 13.5 points a ball game, 4th best among all MSFA teams after their first 2-0 record. And the Cougars right behind them, giving up 14 a ball game. Right now, USF has put 46 on the board here in the first 30 minutes and given up 7 to the Bees. Pass offense, the Bees came in averaging 270 yards a ball game. Romani had thrown for 305 last week. How about Crable in Illinois? A week ago, he threw for 396 yards in that win over the Fighting Saints. That puts him number 3 this week among all MSFA quarterbacks, averaging over 300 yards at 302. Cougars, third best among MSFA teams defensively against the pass. Have given up only about 136 yards a game. Gave up 155 last week, and today they've given up just 61 yards to the Bees in the first 30 minutes. So there's a trend developing here as you find out that St. Francis has just really played extremely well here today, with the one exception with the penalties. And that has been a little bit of an issue, as they have been penalized 12 times for 150 yards in this first half. Came in averaging 110, last in the MSFA among all teams, and that's per game. So we'll see how that trend develops the rest of the way. Interesting, as we wait for the Cougars here at home to come out. Sean now making his way down to midfield. He'll be checking in with Kevin Donley. A week ago, Cougars in Illinois, in Joliet, they were basically in a dressing room that was, well, if you're familiar with the layout here at the University of St. Francis, consider if a team was huddled up in the old chapel and had to make its way across the parking lot and then into the stadium. That's basically the length that the Cougars had to go last week, and they were quite, honestly, very late getting onto the field. They came onto the field just before the start of the second half. We did not have an opportunity to check in with Coach, with Bill Scott on hand at halftime. We got him in the postgame, so I know that Sean is checking down below and hopefully is going to have an opportunity to talk with him. I want to remind you about Northeast Chiropractic Center. Dr. Osenga of Northeast Chiropractic Center is our 106.3 sports media sponsor. You can catch all the highlights from past games on YouTube. Watch every touchdown, every tackle, and every halftime interview at youtube.com/Redeemer Radio. Well, while we wait for the team to come out, we'll wait for the coach to check in with Sean McBride. Let's step out with this message as halftime, our Shawnee Construction halftime show continues. And St. Francis on top, ranked number 1 here of visiting St. Ambrose, 46-7 at the halftime break. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, 106.3 FM.
Parkview Sports Medicine is an integrated sports medicine team. We're treating injuries when and where they happen, and working to prevent them before they do. We believe the best care is coordinated care, helping ensure you get the individualized services you need every step of the way, offering innovative treatment techniques to get you or the athlete you love back in play. Reaching higher, pushing further. Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
Actually, both teams to come out here prior to the start of the second half in this 46-7 ball game led by the University of St. Francis. We see some of the players now starting to make their way out to the tunnel below us, and we'll be checking in with Sean here very shortly. Of course, you always do a little bit of scoreboard watching elsewhere. You wonder how is the other team, especially the one you're going to play the following week, going to do. St. X today. We'll see the Cougars of St. Xavier next Saturday in Chicago. And let's go down and check in with Sean and the coach. Sean McBride with Coach Kevin Donley. Halftime comments down there, and we'll be back with the start of the second half. Cougars won the toss, deferred. They will get the ball to begin this second half and leading visiting St. Ambrose at 46-7. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, 106.3 FM.
When you experience a sports injury, muscle, or joint pain, you want treatment right away. Parkview Ortho Express provides same-day orthopedic and sports injury care without referral or appointment, offering diagnostics, x-rays, the region's only body composition DEXA scan right inside of the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse. Walk in Monday through Thursday, 7 to 7, Friday, 7 to 5, and Saturday, 8 to noon. For more information, go to parkviewsportsmedicine.com/orthoexpress.
Day playing at Lindenwood Belleville. Marion, if you're wondering, they are idle. Knights with not a game, and we'll see them in this building 2 weeks from today in what will be a night game. And Coach Kevin Donley, he said, the gauntlet starts today. The real test coming up starting with today. A lot of respect and admiration for the program that Mike Magistrelli in his 12th year has built at St. Ambrose of the Fighting Bees. Again, a team that came in unbeaten, 2-0. And effectively ranked 29 among all NAIA football teams. And the coaches, the Cougars today have really capitalized on opportunities, but they've also played hard, as the coach just mentioned, and have made the most of their opportunities and leading this ball game at 46-7. You always are concerned and interested in the first 2 minutes of either half, and we'll see how the Cougars now, will they keep the foot on the gas here to start this second half? Or sometimes a team can tend, we got this bag, we'll coast, and that can bite you sometimes. And remember, we talked about a game a couple of years ago down at Taylor where similar situation, USF had a big halftime lead, and they were all pressed to hold on and win that ball game down in Upland, Indiana against the Taylor. So again, from a Cougar standpoint, you hope that situation does not reemerge here today in Fort Wayne. But other games going on elsewhere. It is also Taylor. They're on the road in Chicago visiting Trinity International. Siena Heights home today to Robert Morris. Olivet Nazarene makes the trip up to Ann Arbor, Michigan. They take on a Concordia team that is also in the top 10. By the way, there are 3 teams in the Mid-East that are ranked in the top 10. St. Francis were number 1. Marion also highly ranked, and I think they are ranked, let's see, let's check my notes here. The Knights are number 6 and Concordia number 8. So, Sean, again, that speaks so highly of not only how competitive things are in the Mid-States Football Mid-East League, but you consider how many national titles the Mid-East League and the Midwest and the MSFA has done over the last 10 years. And arguably the top conference in all of NAIA football.
I hearken back, Joe, when we talk about it on Friday nights, how the SAC really prepares a lot of their teams for postseason play. This is the very same thing. When you look at the divisional play, conference play here in Mid-States, there is just some hard-knock football going on here in our region. And I think we're blessed to be able to be a part of that because, again, it prepares and conditions and excels these players play on the field, gets them in battle mode, and gets them ready for a long, deep run.
Nick Perkins trotting onto the field, going back with Matt Komakevich in kick return. Matt will be the deepest inside the 10-yard line. Perkins back with Pearson Harnish out there. How about that?
Look at that.
Kick return. You think he'd, he's so used to hitting people.
Yeah.
And he was a great two-way star at Norwell.
That's
years
right.
ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was Mr. Everything. You can't keep him off the field. That's just all there is to it.
Former quarterback, as memory serves correct. So here we go. They'll tee it up, and the Bees will kick from left to right. Cougars will go against the wind here in this start of this second half. New kickers come in there. Don't seem to have him on the roster, so we'll just go with the kick, and it will come down to Komakevich, calls for it and has it inside the 10, works left hash mark, cuts middle of the field, across the 20, 25, now across the 35, 40-yard line, looking for a block, and brought down just shy of midfield. A good return by Matt Komakevich.
Just fantastic. Again, great downfield vision, tremendous speed when he needs it, and another short field coming up for the silver and blue.
Sean, we told fans about the story from last year where Justin Green, who did just everything so well, including kickoff returns. But one particular game, had to go to the restroom, had some stomach cramps issues. They're looking around. Hey, there's a freshman, number 1, Matt Komakevich, come in there, returned it 80 yards for a kickoff return touchdown. That's
right.
a good way to start your career for the Silver and Blue.
You are on the radar, young man.
Definitely. Here's Crable, looks, hand the ball off, and off tackle run and up the middle. I believe that's Eli Wallace in there, brings it to the St. Ambrose side of midfield to the 47-yard line.
Yeah, quality run that time by Wallace, just following his blockers and then taking a little north and south jut, getting into the linebacker core, and 2nd and 5 looks like coming up.
Matt Crable, what can you say about that young sophomore quarterback? 13 of 15 completions in the first half, 244 yards, 2 touchdowns, no sacks, no interceptions, and he looks to hand it off again. Straight ahead carry as the gain is to the 44-yard line. Again, straight ahead. Cougars trying to emphasize and establish the run game and keep the clock moving. Really not interested necessarily in points. They'll take them if the opportunity presents it, but leading 46-7. Want to get out, get into the dressing room, get healthy, and get ready for St. X next week.
Yeah, that's it. Business as usual.
Schmeling in the slot to the right side. It'll be 3rd down and a long 2. Rixey's in there wide right. Rocky James and Chris Smith wide left. As Crable looks left, throws the ball. James has got it at the 40. Gave grounds, got the 1st down. Nudges back to the 40-yard line. Ball came loose late. Did the whistle blow? And I believe it did. No indication yet by the officials.
I think they're going to call him down.
Rocky lost the helmet as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Crable says, hey, no
we
problem.
got it. No worries. 1st and 10.
So they'll spot it at the 40-yard line.
James is going to have to come out with his bonnet coming off one play, I believe.
Saint Francis Cougars, 1st down.
So it will be 1st and 10, USF to start this second half. Crable ducked over to the sidelines quickly as Rocky James came out of there. Rixey stays in with Schmeling. There's a 2 wide to the right. Will Chrisman's in wide to the left side. And here's Crable out of the gun, looks to hand it off, and there's Wallace looking for running room, is wrestled down. I believe that was Dylan Valdez. No, it's Ryan Zitkus that wrapped up on him. But again, Wallace with that ability after the initial contact, Sean, to pick up extra yardage and picks up close to 4 or 5 yards again.
Yeah, I mean, he's always falling forward, and that comes from the running stance and the running coaches that time. Just doing a fine job, the running back coach. That's training, that's progression, and that's experience back there. Always falling forward.
Let's call it 2nd down and short 6 now. Ball at the 36. Here's Crable rolling to the left side, looking, plants the feet and hits Rocky James. Nice looping move, got away from a defender, ducks inside the 30-yard line down to about the 29, maybe the 28.
You know, James just has this unique ability to take a hop step right after he catches that ball, and it really does make the corners or the single person out there miss. And gives him really a better look at what's going on downfield, and he's very effective at that.
Yeah, so is Rixey. We talked about him earlier. They make that first move and then make the defender commit, and then react with the second move. 1st and 10 now at the 29-yard line. Crable wants to throw again. Looks, steps up in the pocket, throws in the middle. Rocky James has got it inside the 5, and he's down to the 2-yard line, maybe to the goal line. No, they're going to mark him back down, the knee hit at the 2.
You just can't give Crable that much time back there. He had all day, and of course with the routes being run the way they are, he was able to, Rocky James, get separation, and just another beautiful throw.
P.J. Dean checks in. They give the ball to him and runs into the end zone for an apparent touchdown, but there is a penalty flag thrown. I know that's hard for you to believe. Yeah. On a day where we saw 12 Cougar penalties in the first half, it looks like they're going to add to the total right here. Maybe Matt Bushy could just kind of record that, holding right? St. Francis.
Just press the button. Yeah.
So that'll take away the touchdown, move the ball back outside the 12. So it will remain 1st and goal.
160 penalty yards against St. Francis, and which is just blowing my mind that they're up 46-7.
So again, 2 wide to the right side, including Schmeling. He's actually up on the wing this time to the right side. Blitz being shown defensive right side. Here's Crable, rolls, throw, crossing pattern. Crispin, straight arms one, but they've wrapped up on him pretty good that time and knock him back. I believe it's going to be forward progress down to about the 7, maybe the 6-yard line. Looks to the 7. And it'll bring up second down and goal.
Yeah, Greg Burnett from the strong safety position doing a great job, really, keeping containment there on Crispin and a nice open field tackle to disallow any additional yards after the catch.
Cougars with their first possession to begin this second half, trying to add to that total. Now they're unbalanced to the right side. 2 wideouts to the short side as well. Motion back by Schmeling. And they'll hand the ball to him on a sweep. Needs a block, cuts inside at the 5 and run out of bounds. He tried to reach out across the goal line, but I think he lost the ball before he crossed the plane of the goal. And the officials are going to discuss this one because the ball went out of the end zone. If it's a fumble, that's a touchback. But if he had control and out of bounds, and that's going to be the discussion right now, it would be the Cougar ball, and how they're going to rule it, maybe. It is a touchback.
It's a touchback.
Yep.
Yeah, St. Ambrose gets away with one here.
Schmeling did everything he could. He tried to reach out with the right hand. He knew he was going to go out of bounds inside the 2, but he lost control of the ball before he crossed the plane of the goal.
The ball came loose before the player went out of bounds. Ball out of the end zone. Result touchback.
So all that work for nothing, as it turns out, and St. Ambrose keeps it a 39-point difference. And they'll bring in Jake Osterberger once again as the 1-back in this offense. And let's see if it's going to be still Jake Romani. It will be. He was 8 of 18 in the first half for just 61 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And looks the read option and does give it straight ahead. Osterberger gets out to just basically back to the line of scrimmage, maybe just across the 20, if that.
Yeah, the front 3 for St. Francis coming out early and angry here to begin this drive. And, yeah, nothing there whatsoever.
Malachi Mannion down lineman defensively left side. Swartz, Jamisic. And here's a quick throw in the middle. That's dropped as Marcus Stepp had the coverage right there, and it'll be just like that, 3rd down and long.
Romani had no time whatsoever to get rid of that ball. He had silver helmets in his face, just tried to throw it out there as best he possibly could not set up, and that resulted in an incomplete pass, let alone Stepp was right there with the receiver.
Ethan Vanover came running off the field late, and so the Cougars making a change on 3rd and long. Romani steps up in the pocket, looking and driving, throws the ball, has got a catch for a 1st down. That was a catch by Macari. Macari drags tacklers up across the 40 to the 45, so he stayed with the play. And some of the best field position of the day now for the Bees.
Real hard-nosed job that time by Macari. I mean, he broke out of 1 tackle, spun out of it, and kept driving. Gets a few extra yards.
Kind of surprised that Romani able to get rid of that ball and get it on target, but he did. Now he wants to throw to his left, pump fake, pulls it down, throws back the left side. He's got 2 men down there. The ball is incomplete. Good coverage by Stan Jackson.
I'm flummoxed, Joe. There was a clear as the defensive line got into the backfield. One of the guards was taking a defensive lineman down and pulling him down on top of him. Clearly visible from here.
Yeah, there's been a couple of those today.
I'm just going to stop complaining.
I know what you're saying, because I'm not saying that St. Francis is not guilty of those. Well, they saw 12 penalties in the first half, but come on, guys, there's 2 teams out here playing.
Yep.
Blitz coming by Dunton, and they've got Romani steps out of a tackle, but Swartz has got him, and he's down for a sack.
Look at that. That is huge.
Way back inside the 25-yard line.
Romani wishes he was left-handed at that point because he couldn't square his shoulders to try and get that ball out. Being right-handed, he was getting chased down on the right side, so he didn't dare expose that ball to the big paw coming up, and he was sacked by Swartz.
Swartz with 2 sacks a year ago. 2 quarterback hurries, and it'll be bring up 3rd down and forever. Ball at the 25-yard line. They've got 3rd and 30 coming up. They've got to get all the way to the Cougar 45-yard line. Hawkins trying to turn the corner and bumped out of bounds right at his own 25. So it'll be a punting situation once again for the Bees. The clock will continue to run inside of 9 minutes. And we've had no change in our scoring, still 46-7. This time it'll be Dan Rixey back in punt return.
Brings up 4th down.
Rixey a year ago had 6 punt returns, had a long of 36, averaged over 10 yards a punt return.
Number 7, Dan Rixey.
Now Sigworth. He's had some trouble back there today handling high snaps at his own 10, and now high again, but's got it. Kick is away, and it's a wobbly ball, hits at midfield, and immediately kicks out of bounds on the near side at the USF 47-yard line. That's where Saint Francis goes back to work offensively. Going to have very good field position in the lead at 46-7.
Well, Coach Donley talked about it. We'll see what happens. We're going to start the second half just as we did the first, and it looks like, Crable is coming back on with the ones again.
Looking ahead, it'll be homecoming for the Bees next Saturday in Davenport. They'll be hosting Missouri Baptist. I didn't realize this. They have played their first 3 games on the road, Sean.
Wow.
And they're 2-0 coming into this ball game.
Wow.
Here's Crable. Looking pump fake. They took down Rocky James. You've got to throw a penalty, and they will finally. I mean, 2 guys, not just one, but 2 guys interfered with him.
Crable did take a shot as he was releasing that ball. Back on his feet. Seems to be all right.
Well, let's see how Matt Bushy, if he calls it penalty against St. Francis like he did earlier.
Defensive pass interference. Number 22 on the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic.
Well, he's not going to take a chance that time. He just is going to move the ball and let it be that. So it'll be a walk-off inside the 40 to the 38-yard line of St. Ambrose.
Their second penalty.
Say again.
Their second penalty.
How many for St. Francis? What, 14?
Well, 13.
13.
They had 1 holding call here in the second half.
Smith in, wing back to the right side. They'll run the ball. Here's Wallace looking for running room. Really does not find it. Got about a yard, maybe a yard and a half, down to about the inside the 37. Call it a pickup of 1, second down and 9. Brickens comes in, Schmeling as well. Chris Smith checks out of the ball game, so does Kamakevich. Crable taking a little time out of the huddle now, looking. Nick Ferrer kind of letting him know what looks to be a good play right here. Clock approaching 7.5 minutes, time remaining in this fast-moving second half. 2 wide to the right. Here as Crable looks to give it off to Wallace again, and they're dragging him down right maybe for a gain of 1 yard only.
Yeah, great penetration that time by St. Ambrose. Looks to be trying to get a read on that number. I think that's 31 maybe.
I thought it was Dylan Valdez, 37 perhaps, but
could be. Well, shooting the gap and getting good penetration into the backfield, and it looks like that's going to be a tackle for loss.
So it'll bring up 3rd down and 10 now.
38-yard line.
B.J. Dean in there directing some traffic. Just 1 safety back. Corner's playing off as well. As Crable takes the snap, takes a look. Looking, still time. Steps up, throws on the middle. He's got a strike to Dan Rixey. They had him well bracketed, but he'll have a first down inside the 25 to the 22. And I tell you what, you talking about running a good route to get yourself open. That's what Dan Rixey did.
That's exactly right. He was right in the middle of the zone. So the defensive backs all had their assignments, and he just found that open spot, and that's exactly where Crable hit him. Tremendous execution.
Spotted at the Bees 22-yard line as St. Francis with still the starting unit in there trying to capitalize.
Again, we talk about it, Joe. I don't mean to interrupt, but you cannot give Crable that kind of time back in the pocket. He'll pick you apart all day.
They've got Brickens in. He's up on the wing to the left side. The running back is P.J. Dean. Takes the handoff, cuts left side. Nice cut in the middle. Now brings it out to inside the 15 to the 10. Inside the 5. Did he get in? Touchdown. P.J. Dean had a 76-yarder earlier, this time from 22 yards out. And the Cougars on the board once again at the 5:58 mark.
Beautiful 22-yard run that time. And again, the St. Francis scores. Little off tackle left, and he was able to cut up and then cut back outside, dancing his way down into the end zone. Very athletic move and a beautiful play.
have an officials timeout. We missed the early part of that. I didn't know if we had an injury or an equipment problem. Looks like one of the Bees is going to check out of there.
Who are they bringing out onto the field? They're waving someone out onto the field.
Looks like the training staff coming off for.
But there's nobody down.
I think it's one of the officials. Or is there something on the field that there's your biohazard for the day?
Oh, you had to say that.
I had to say that, didn't I?
Yeah, they squirted some water on the turf there.
You know, it's a warm day, Sean. You wonder maybe somebody upchucked or something.
Oh, could be. Yeah, yeah. That's a medical term, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there's some biohazard on the field. We got a guy squirting some water out there in the end zone right now. And that might be enough.
And he also said, I'm not going to pick that up. I will spray it from a distance, but you're on your own, guys.
You bet.
You know, all this concern in recent years because of HIV with the blood, you got to come out of a game if they see any blood. And, you know, and it's just a different world nowadays, folks.
That's right.
Gardner with a right-footed kick and well into it once again, on track and good to make it 53-7. And the Cougars striking finally in here in the second half on the board. And we'll step out. This is Cougar football on the road. Well, we're not on the road. Seems like we should be on the road, doesn't it? And we're at Redeemer Radio, 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana. I'm getting punchy.
Signal for the Cougars, number 87, Gavin Gardner. For the Fighting Bees, number 3, Dick Bagnali, number 9, Isaiah Hawkins.
With Sean McBride, Joe Parson back in Fort Wayne at Darcy Stadium. I'm guessing we may see a steady diet of runs by the USF offense the rest of the way, and probably the 2s and 3s coming in this next series. But before that, the Bees will have a chance to see what they can get going, trying to get their second touchdown of the ball game. Right now, it's a 46-point lead for the University of Saint Francis. Here comes Gardner with a kick. Line drive into the wind, and that's 2 yards deep. It'll be run out across the 5 to the 10. Right side, and boy, great downfield coverage. And I want to give credit to that. That was Caleb Summers on the kickoff coverage unit, and he played it perfectly.
Summers, Elkhart Memorial standout right there, checks in, did a fine job just pursuing that run, shooting the gap through the blockers and nailing him. That was just textbook coverage.
Tell you
again, special teams, Joe.
Sean, the crowd loved that play too.
Darn right.
Could hear them voicing their approval. So it'll be 1st and 10. Had a kind spot of that ball as they bring it out to the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Bees. Matthew Couvert in, one of the wides, lone wide to the right side. They've got 2 wide to the left. We'll see if Romani remains in there at quarterback. Read option, wants to throw, dumps it over the middle. He's got Bond at 6'7". He's got a big first down, and he rumbles all the way inside the USF 45-yard line, down to about the 43.
Flag on the play, Joe.
Oh, no.
That's coming back.
Tell you what, Bond, when he gets moving at 6'7", 240, just a sophomore, he is.
2 penalties on the play. 40, 52. On the offense, 10-yard penalty for previous spot. Still remains first down. Still be the sideline warning. On Saint Francis. Still first down.
So it's going to wipe out that big gainer. They'll walk off the yardage. That'll take the ball back inside the 15. And still down to the 10-yard line. I'm just curious, when you were down there with Coach, he was talking about going to handcuff these guys, 12 penalties in the first half, a lot of holds. Did you see him talking to any of the officials? There are 2 teams playing today.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I should have followed up with that. Again, I had to get back up, so I didn't see him talking to any officials down there, Joe.
Champley on a sweep, takes the handoff, curls up the middle across the 10, got to the 15, maybe another yard to the 16. So, again, the Bees trying to keep that ball and looking for any. And now we've got a Cougar coming off, kind of hoping and holding an arm. That's Malachi Mannion. That we'll see if he draws some medical attention as he's coming quickly over to the sidelines and to the bench. No, check it. It's not Mannion. It is
38.
Going to be Nick Lucas.
Freshman from St. John's, Indiana.
But we are getting some of those second and third line troops in. Here's a quick throw left side. That's wide and incomplete. So it will bring up third down call, 3rd and 24, with the ball back at the 16-yard line. Bees trying to reach their own 30-yard line. In the first half, they were, well, they never had a, well, that was a first quarter stat. They were 0 for 0 in far as third down conversion opportunities. Out of the gun now, pump fake. Romani throws it up left side, looking downfield, ball contested, and they're going to have a penalty flag thrown. Let's see who that went on.
Romani's pass.
Was that Anthony Moore, I believe, maybe 23, I believe, out there. Will look like he had good positioning. Went up and fought for the ball, but I believe they're gonna call him for pass interference or holding.
You know, that was such a tightly contested coverage, and they were both going back and forth. I'm reticent to make the call.
Number 23.
Yeah, they.
10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's what I kind of suspected might be holding against, but I thought, you know, it was a pretty good play by Anthony Moore, but it does go on him. And let's see, is that an automatic first down? Because it was 3rd down and 14.
Well, it's a 10-yard penalty. I don't know that it is an automatic first down.
So it will.
It is, yes. Yep, they're moving the chains.
Okay, so we'll bring it out across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Bond stays in, by the way, tight to the right side. Actually more of a wingback out there. And Romani out of the pistol looks to throw the ball again and being pursued. And Marcus Stepp has got him wrapped up for a sack back around the 16.
Beautiful job by Stepp. He didn't get sucked in on the fake. He read the play action beautifully, and he was right there as Romani was trying to turn the corner to set up for the pass.
A lot of frustration by the Bees offensively as they are trying to come with play fakes, and they want you to honor the run.
Yep.
But, you know, down 53-7, they've got to put the ball in the air, and they will again after a big loss. 2nd down and 19 now as Romani looks to hand it off, and not much there. They will get a gain, an off-tackle run to the left side out to the 20 and just over the 20-yard line. So it looks to be about a 3rd down call, 3rd down, and let's call it 14 coming up for St. Ambrose.
Number 37, Joey Lamping checks in for the St. Francis Cougars. He's out of Bishop Lewis High School, senior.
Cougars dropped 3 back in coverage. Here's the pump fake and a throw, and they got a wide open catch for a first down. That's across the 40 and up to the 45-yard line. So good play for the Bees and good recognition by Romani. Wasted no time in delivering that ball to a wide open receiver.
Yeah, quick strike and good yardage. So great execution by the Bees that time, moving it closer to midfield.
Now they hurry up to the line of scrimmage, not huddling up. 3:23 remains in the 3rd quarter. Romani looking, takes and looks, wants to hand the ball off. And the running back is that Osterberger again. Let's see, they got some new numbers in there for the Bees as well. Yep. That's Garrett Charks, 5'10", running back out of McAllisburg, Iowa. He'll gain a yard, 2nd down and 9. Romani, 2-step drop again, looks left, pump fake, now pulls it out. He's got a wide open man and missed him.
Wow. Yeah, very not typical for Romani there to overthrow the receiver, especially being so wide open. But that's sure enough what he did. They burned it down. Now they're in challenging positions again. Now it's 3rd and long coming up for the Bees.
That was Hunter Thompson. He's a true freshman out of Sherman, Illinois. He's the guy that caught the previous catch that gave him for the first down opportunity. But now it's 3rd down and 9. Too wide to the right for Romani. And on the draw, hands it off. Here's a run to the left side, and they will have a first down. Good run by that new running back in there. And Garrett, I'm not sure about that name, Tiarks. 215-pound sophomore, but they'll move the chains, and it'll be 1st and 10 at the USF 44. Cougars making some further changes defensively. Checking in there was Kylan Bass, as Romani looks again on the read option and keeps it himself. One of the few times he's run the ball, works to the USF 41-yard line after faking the handoff.
Caleb Subburn's on the stop that time, number 46 for the Cougars. So we see a mix in there, Joe. There's still some number 1s out there, some number 2s, some young pups still. So again, St. Francis trying to put some quality out on the field, but it's still get these young guys some good quality reps.
And you know, from Mike Mentrelli's standpoint, you got to just figure out it's a 0-0 ball game. Try to run some plays, run some continuity, get confidence. And a lot of young guys both sides of the ball right now in the ball game, and you never know who's going to have to carry you the rest of the way. Incomplete pass stops the clock with 1:45 remaining in this third quarter. So it'll be 3rd down and 7. Again, opportunity with the Bees trying to reach the USF 34-yard line this snap. Too wide to the wide side, that's to the right. Romani drops to throw again, steps up in the pocket, now scrambles, runs, looking, slides down. I think he's short of the first down stick, outside the 35, and he'll be 2 yards short of the first down stick.
Yeah, that he will. Good decision, but just didn't have enough room to get that first down. And that's going to bring up a 4th down. They're clearly, well, nothing clear about it. And what happened to Osterberger, number 34? Haven't seen him.
I think they're just going with some of the younger troops right now, as St. Francis is. So now we have an official's timeout on the field. Cougars want to take a timeout with 1:15 remaining in this third quarter. It is still 53-7 USF. They scored 46 big ones in the first half to lead by 29 at that point. We'll step out. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, 106.3 FM.
The Chapel project is the most important building that has ever been built or ever will be built on this campus. It's in the heart of the campus, it's on Mirror Lake, and the chapel and the Bass Mansion will be able to communicate with each other architecturally.
Kickoff time, 1 o'clock local, and of course each and every game on Redeemer Radio. Here's Romani dropping on 4th down, throws over the middle, he's got a man downfield, he's got a catch, and he's got a touchdown. And I believe that is, again, that's Hunter Thompson on that catch.
Yeah, beautiful job. That was just a picture-perfect pass. Romani was able to step up, put some nice air into it, and just hit him right in stride over the shoulder, and score 6 for St. Ambrose.
36 yards on the scoring toss. Hunter Thompson on the catch. And Romani for the second time today with a touchdown toss at the 1:06 mark. Now the extra point attempt coming up. And the right-footed kick, kind of a low line drive again, but over the crossbar and good. So the Bees sting again. And it's 53-14 with a timeout down below. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, 106.3 FM.
When you experience a sports injury, muscle, or joint pain, you want treatment right away. Parkview Ortho Express provides same-day orthopedic and sports injury care without referral or appointment, offering diagnostics, x-rays, the region's only body composition DEXA scan right inside of the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse. Walk in Monday through Thursday, 7 to 7, Friday, 7 to 5, and Saturday, 8 to noon. For more information, go to parkviewsportsmedicine.com/orthoexpress.
Belleville, as Tom Gillen had field goals of 35 and 45 yards, Sean, and missed a 53-yarder. I was kind of, in some ways, hoping we might have a chance for us to see his long leg here today, but it's not really worked out that way.
No, it has not. They've not gotten to a short field position, so.
We will see who's back deep. Here comes the kick. Comes down inside the 10. Return, right side. Is that Stan Jackson?
It is.
Works to the right side across the 30-40 yard line. Cuts back middle of the field. He's got running room at the 45 to the 40. He's inside the 30-yard line, running out of steam, and caught and dropped at the 21. And how about that young man? Give him the bling back. Oh,
no kidding.
Penalty flag?
Penalty flag on the far side of the field, downfield.
Zajac made the touchdown-saving tackle, but may have been for naught anyway.
But an insane display by Jackson that time. Boy, oh boy, he ran about 300 yards to get that 60 yards.
You know, it's got to be down on the sidelines. Who wants a kick return?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, put me in, Coach.
I'll do it.
I'll do it. Darn right.
These are the fun games, you know, when you've got some ability to get a little creative, perhaps. And again, you don't want to run up the score. That's never the intent. And by the way, we'll see Clay Cenarius checking in, and he threw for a touchdown last week, 5 of 7, for 56 yards and a touchdown. Let's see Janai Cooper's come in. He had maybe one of the plays of the year on a touchdown catch. But they will run the ball, and breaking across the 40-yard line, turning the corner out of bounds to the 36. And that's a carry now by Martell Williams, freshman out of Lawrence North in Indianapolis. 5'10", 215.
Yeah, freshman ball carrier that time. So again, we see some clean jerseys coming in, not only for St. Francis, but also for the St. Ambrose Fighting Bees. So, you know, the tail of the tape, it is what it is, as we're in the final seconds of the third quarter.
Gain of 8, hurry up, they'll get a 1. Martell Williams carry up the middle, just steps over one tackler, still pushing the pile down inside the 30 to the 27. As the clock will stop while they move the chains. And I tell you, Martell Williams, he said, I don't care what give me a chance, Coach.
And he's making it pay. Nice job that time getting the first down on 2 carries.
That will be the end of the third quarter, though. It will be 53-14. Number 1 ranked Cougars on top as we head to the fourth quarter. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana. Sean oops, my bad. A lot of new numbers in there for the silver and blue right now. Martell Williams stays in. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Here is Cenarius, loads up, throws right side's got a catch. And here is Nate Carson, works inside the 20 of the Bees down to about the 16-yard line.
Nice job. I think that's going to be enough for a Cougar first down, Joe.
Move the chains.
Yeah.
Well, we see a couple of umbrellas in evidence here at Darcy Stadium, but not because of rain. Just trying to protect themselves from the sun that's come out, and nobody's complaining about that today. Started at 77 degrees. I'm sure we're in the 80s by now. It certainly feels like that up here in the press box. It'll be 1st and 10. Cougars have got it at the Bees 16-yard line. Clay Cenarius in at quarterback. Looks to Martell Williams, starts up the middle. Cuts right, and he will go into the end zone. Nice. What a nifty move by that young freshman running back.
Just fantastic. Nice job by the offense, getting an opportunity for the clean jerseys to get into the end zone, and that's exactly what they did. So fine job by the USF offense.
Martell Williams getting into the end zone at the 14-17 mark. A lot of the coaches coming down from the upper echelons here at Darcy Stadium, both sides. Kind of mop-up roll from the rest of the way out here as Gardner hits the extra point. 60 on the board here at Darcy Stadium for the Silver and Blue. They lead 60-14. We'll be back. Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio 106.3 FM.
Saint Francis Cougars 15, Ambrose 14. That Martell Williams touchdown brought to you by Fort Financial Credit Union.
You know, it's not even 2:30 yet, though.
Taking off at 247, Brandon Grasha.
Grasha is going to come in now to kick the ball away. Brandon Grasha. Or is that Nepper? No, it is Brandon Grasha out of Morton High School in Hammond, Indiana. Did Nepper never do any other than punting at Dwyer?
I remember him as a standout punter. You know, as far as chipping him in, I really don't. I don't recall. Not to say he didn't.
Isaiah Hawkins runs up, calls fair catch. Caught the ball at the 15, but he'll get the benefit of the new rule. It'll come out 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line for the Bees. And now they will work from right to left here. He's going to check some of the scores from last year, but Cougars came in averaging on offense 45.5 points a ball game. They had that at halftime, basically. Now with a couple of scores, 60 on the board here. You know, you always run against this argument. Well, you know, and I've heard Sister Lee say, well, do you have to score as many points on these guys that they come in here and, you know, I mean, she's a nun, right?
That's right, yeah.
Meanwhile, the Bees keep it on the ground, a gain across the 30. But, you know, as Kevin Donley said, you've got 2s and 3s that are out there. A lot of them are basically fodder for practice during the week.
Yep.
You know, they finally get a chance, Sean, to get into a ball game. And Coach says, what do you tell a kid like Martell Williams? Do you tell him fall down?
Right. No, absolutely not. They practice just as hard as your ones. They have a shot. They deserve the opportunity to get out there, and this is why they do it. This is why they go through it Monday through Friday. So they have an opportunity on Saturday to eat that payday bar.
Now, you do have a problem perhaps with certain teams, certain situations, throwing the ball, especially late in the game with a big lead.
Right.
By the way, Nick Lucas on that last tackle for St. Francis. But they do get the first down, so the Bees have 1st and 10 at their own 32-yard line. And they've got Dino Borelli in there now at quarterback. Here's a handoff up the middle across the 35 to the 37. So again, they get those rosters out. A lot of new numbers. Patrick Bond is in there, stays in, that big 6'7" receiver, blocking back basically.
He is a big target too when he gets downfield.
But Borelli, he is a sophomore, 6 foot, 195 pounds. I think this is his first, well, there was a high snap, but he did hand it off, but there's not much there. Cougars stacked that up as Ethan Vanover pinched in from his defensive end position, but getting up off the bottom of the pile. We'll check the numbers as soon as we get a chance here. Matt Schwartz is still out there.
Yeah. Patrick Bond was supposed to be the lead blocker on that from his wing position, but because of the high snap, they weren't able to get the mesh done correctly, and that allowed the DNs to suck in even behind that lead blocker.
Too wide to the right for the Bees. They come back with motion by Couvert. Here's a counter run to the right side, and they will not get the first down. The gain is only to the 41, maybe the 42-yard line. That will be 3 yards short. It'll bring up 4th down. And in a 60-14 ball game, would not be surprised if Magistrelli decide, you know, let's go for it. What do we got to lose?
Sure.
And it looks like they will run a play. So Borelli sets up out of the pistols, got a running back offset to his left. Does kick the ball. Does not go far, takes a high bounce at the USF 41 and is going to kick out of bounds at the 42. And now a late penalty flag is thrown. I have got to find out, Sean, what the record for penalties is. Why don't you take a look at this penalty call, and I'm going to try to get out the old trusty yearbook.
Well, again, coming into, we just got the third quarter stats from Bill, so we'll tack this one on depending upon who's it goes on.
Face mask, 27. On the return team, 15-yard penalty, the end of the kick. First down.
All right, so that's plus 15 yards for the USF Cougars. So let's see here. Coming into the fourth quarter, they had 15 penalties for 190 yards. That makes 16 penalties for 205 yards, Joe.
It's going to take us a while to run that one down, but it will be Cougars with the ball offensively. The penalty, personal foul, face mask, will move it back to the 24-yard line, 1st and 10. Scenario stays in as the quarterback. 2 protectors in. He's got motion by Dylan Hunley. Counter run coming, and nothing there that time for St. Francis running the ball.
Yeah, not much there. Again, after keeping it on the ground, letting the clock grind down, 11:40 to go here in the contest. 60-14 is your score. It's simply academic right now. And, of course, this gives the 2s and 3s an opportunity to get in there, get some quality playing time, work on their reps and their techniques, and hopefully everybody comes out of this safe.
Loss of 1. Well, I see all kinds of records, but I don't see one necessarily for interceptions, most sacks, receiving yards. And here's a run to the right side out to the 30-yard line. And Martell Williams again, and looking good in the backup role here today.
He sure is. Again, he's got those skills. He's been well coached, and again, dancing, hop-stepping around, getting to the outside edge and getting a nice push out there. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 3.5, maybe 4 for the St. Francis Cougars, as the ball is now out to the 31-yard line. Clay Scenario is still in there as a quarterback for the Cougars.
Just don't see that penalty for a game, and I'm sure we'll find out after this game is over, and we'll pass that along to you next week when we're in Chicago. But now it's 3rd down and 3. 2 wide to the left, the wide side of the field. Scenarius looks to run the ball again. Williams off tackle, fights his way to the 33. Not enough yardage. He's going to be short by about a yard.
I think it was that same play as he tried to bounce it outside, off tackle to the right, and it looks like the punt team is now coming on for the St. Francis Cougars. And it looks like, I believe that's Nepper going to launch this one.
Is that the first or just the second punt of the day? They've not had many, I know that.
No, they have not. No, this is the first of the day. So after 3, there's nothing here.
After Nepper waits back at his own 20-yard line. Rush is coming, got the kick away. Nice spiral ball. Fair catch is called back at the 21-yard line. So the Bees will get the ball back down. McNally was back in punt return. No chance on that one.
On the 22-yard line.
So St. Ambrose will go on offense once again, 1st and 10.
First and 10.
They'll start from their own 21-yard line with 9 minutes, 40 seconds remaining in this ball game. Bees, as we mentioned, they come home to Davenport next week. It'll be homecoming as they take on Missouri Baptist. And do you think they're going to be glad to get home after 3 straight road games to start this year?
That is a tough schedule. And how they got away with 2 victories, that shows you a quality opponent right there.
Keeping it on the ground, gain out to the 25-yard line.
And you know, Joe, you talked about it too. They had to play a game the day later as far as that goes. So to be on the road, sleeping in a hotel room, and having to get up and then pull a victory as well, and that's a lot of adversity.
And that cost you a day of preparation for St. Francis, too.
That's right.
Yep.
Now Borelli looking to throw the ball out. He's got a catch here. And that's a 1st down catch across the 30 or close to it. That was Hunter Thompson once again. That's about his 3rd catch of the day in a backup role. So a guy for the Bees to have some hope and pay attention to. Now they come up and press coverage on him on 1st and 10. Borelli looks to hand the ball off, a run to the right side.
Oh.
Hit from behind.
With authority.
And that was for St. Francis. I want to check that.
I think that's Justin Groves.
You are right. Freshman, 5'10", 250 out of South Bend St. Joe. Holds it to a gain of just 2 as Borelli out of the shotgun formation now. 2-step drop, now rolls to his right side. Looking, throws on the run. And that ball, let's see if they rule it a catch. Right about midfield. No indication. Yeah, they're going to move everybody upfield. It will be 1st and 10. That's a pretty good delivery by the backup quarterback, sophomore Dino Borelli on the move.
Interesting side note here, Joe. The side judge, when we talk about the game today, that is Amanda Bender, a longtime NCAA official, or check that, NAIA official, but first football game here at USF.
How about that?
Yeah.
Here's a run off tackle to the right side. Maybe a gain a yard and a half as the clock now will move inside of 2 minutes, or I should say inside of 8 minutes time remaining.
Happened to be talking to Coach Joey Didier down there before the game, and I asked, about the official Amanda Bender, and he said, no, solid. Yeah, no, we like to have her here. She does very well, and glad she's here.
A little bit of an offset I formation. Here's a pass. They've got it complete here on the near sideline. A gain close to a 1st down to the USF 40-yard line. That was Patrick Bond once again. And defensively, they've got that 6'7" defender that played so well, especially the first 2 weeks, in Bernard Buhake. And now they've got basically a blocking back, but Patrick Bond, who's really had a couple of great catches here today. It's 3rd down and 1 for the Bees. They work from the left side hash mark. Borelli looking prey, and he's sacked back outside the 45.
He looked right, and his running back went left. Nothing there for the handoff. He stood there and got hammered.
I think that was the credit Caleb Summers for getting in there. I think Nick Lucas was there as well. So it's 4th down, and they're going to go roll the dice once again. They got to get to the 39-yard line. No, it's a kick out of that formation. So it hits, bounding inside the 5. Touched, and I think that's a good play. They kept it from getting into the end zone, and they'll mark it at the USF about the 4-yard line.
Wow, tremendous special teams play there by St. Ambrose. Quick kick out of the shotgun formation and dropping it right in the coffin inside the 5.
Yeah, they've done that a couple of times today on that 4th down situation where the quarterback just drops down and quickly kicks the ball away. So the Cougars start at 96 yards away. Well, they'll mark that ball just out inside the 4-yard line. And Cenarius trots out there once again. He'll be joined by, Martell Williams comes in as well to stay in the running back. He has performed well here in this second half. Cenarius takes the snap a yard deep in the end zone. Williams starts left, cuts it up the middle now, crossed the 5, got out to about the 7. Are they going to give them a good spot, Sean, out to about the 9-yard line? That'll be a gain of 5 yards.
Yeah, again, when we see Williams running here, that's something to keep an eye on. He's got a very low center of gravity. He's not a tall guy to begin with, but he is average at 5'10", but runs very low to the ground, and at 205 has a great center of gravity, so he's tough to bring down.
Rob Brown checks into the game as an offensive lineman. Get these numbers. He's a sophomore, 5'11", 369 out of Lawrence North.
Good heavens.
Does he fill out a uniform or what?
Got his own zip code.
2nd down and 5. Cenarius, a little more operating room, wants to throw. The out pattern, left side, the ball is dropped. So in and out of the hands of the would-be receiver that time, and that was Jay Siegel, who had a couple of catches last week and came in late in the second half in Illinois, but now brings up 3rd down and 5. Still 5:38 remaining in the ball game. Clock stopped down on the field after that incompleted pass. I believe Dylan Hunley's in there. He'll be up in the slot to the near side. And I think that's Janai Cooper, who had that miracle catch for a touchdown last week. Let's see if Cenarius tries to go his way. Cenarius does look right, looks, pumps, throws it, and there is a fingertip catch at the 20-yard line, and it was caught that time by Jordan Cannon out of Arsenal Tech High School in Indianapolis. Cougars move the chains with inside of 5.5 minutes time remaining.
You know, that really was a great catch by Cannon. Again, thrown a little bit behind. He had to really stretch for it, keep his feet. He was successful, and it's another 1st down for the Cougars.
Janai Cooper in the game, the lone wide to the right side. They've got double coverage on him. As here Cenarius hands the ball off, run right side, and Williams hit from behind, did cross the 25. And we'll get a spot of the ball just inside the USF 26 as the clock continues to move. Cougars got a late change on the offensive line as Matt Jackson, a freshman lineman out of Homestead High School, checks out of the ball game. Hundley goes wide left. He'll be joined out there by Jay Siegel again on 2nd down and 7. 4:30 remains. Here's Cenarius on the draw. Williams tries to work to his left. Got some green to work with. 30, 35, and out to the 37-yard line. Martell Williams with another Cougar first down.
Just fantastic. Made a great decision to bounce it outside after that first miss and got him an additional 7 or 8 yards after that decision. So another first down for the USF Cougars as they are moving the chains on a regular basis.
And Sean, how pleasing is this got to be to Coach Donley? You know, you got Justin Green being rested today, P.J. Dean, Eli Wallace, and now here's Martell Williams, a freshman.
Add him to the stable. Let's go.
Cenarius again on first down, wants to throw the screens. Hundley's got it, needs a block, steps inside a defender, and carried the ball across the 40 to the 41, and he finds 3 yards the hard way. Didn't have a lot to work with.
Yeah, good question. When they review that one, he might, if in fact they do, he might make the decision to really keep going outside instead of trying to cut it up because he had backside pressure coming.
We are inside 3.5 minutes time remaining. 2 wide again, including Hundley to the left. And Cenarius ready to take that snap once again. And looks to hand it off. And here is a run up the middle for another first down. Eli Wallace back in the ball game. And looks like he is down and slow getting up. Well, you always worry about those situations where you bring a guy back in that.
Yep. Maybe he's cooled off. He, was on the sidelines too long. Maybe it's just a cramp, and maybe this is going to be very temporary. We don't really know yet.
So we do have an injury timeout here at Darcy Stadium while they tend to Eli Wallace. 3:05 remains in this ball game. It's been all Saint Francis today. They had 19 points in the first quarter, 19-0. They led at halftime by a score of 46-7. And right now it's 60-14 on the scoreboard. And we'll we will not. We'll keep it right here because Wallace helped to his feet. And he is going to require some assistance. And good thing you've got Martell Williams that has shown some promise today because you hope Eli Wallace is a valuable commodity backing up Justin Green and walking off the field somewhat gingerly, but walking off basically under his own power, but slowly.
Taking his time. So we hope all the best for him. He'll get some expert medical care, and we'll see if he's back next week.
Now Matt Komakevich has come back into the ball game. He will be slot left. Clock moves now inside of 3 minutes. 1st and 10 USF. They've got it at the 49-yard line. Cenarius rolls to his left, throws the out patterns, got a catch on the far side at the 45, and they will have another first down. Great second move once again by the receiver out there, and I want to say again that's Jay Siegel.
Yeah, I think you're right, 85. Yeah. So Siegel makes a nice move out there. Good way to keep his legs going, keep it churning, making the defenders miss, and creates another first down.
And Sean, that's a little bit we saw that the freshman do last week. Freshman out of Lafayette Jefferson High School. You look at where a lot of these kids come from, prolific high school programs, not just in Fort Wayne, but out of Indianapolis. Lafayette Jeff has had great tradition.
Yep.
Cenarius now on 1st and 10 at the 39. Wants to throw to the right, again keeps it short. Komakevich, stop and go move, runs over a would-be tackler, gets it down to the 30-yard line.
In talking to one of the SAC experts, excuse me, he is of the opinion, another penalty coming up here by the way, that he thinks there's at least 20 Division I players active in the SAC right now.
Unsportsmanlike. Number 1, on the offense, 15-yard penalty, run, go fucking down.
Wow, that goes on Matt Komakevich, and they say unsportsmanlike penalty call. That is very uncharacteristic of that young man.
It surely is, and I didn't see it. I don't know if there was something said afterwards. I didn't see anything physical.
There did look like there was a little late contact, and maybe he reacted to that. That's certainly no excuse, but
right.
But the penalty will move the ball back to the Bees' 45-yard line with 1:50 remaining, so just a couple of snaps remaining. It'll be 2nd down and 16. And Martell Williams looking for running room off to his left and gets the penalty yardage back and more down to the 35-yard line of St. Ambrose.
Joe, we're going to check if, in fact, we can get the end-of-game stats in time. But if the numbers work out, if I've done the math correctly, that's 17 penalties for 220 yards against the Saint Francis Cougars today.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's all you can say is wow. So 3rd down coming up for St. Francis with 1:14 remaining. Clock is moving. Cenarius checked to the sideline, so he's just getting back into the huddle now with 14 on the play clock. And we will see just a couple of snaps remaining. Got to get to the 29 effectively on this. They'll run Martell Williams trying to run to his right, stumbles. Was penetration of the backfield by the Bees. Does get it down to the 32. That's short of the 1st down. So the clock will continue to move with 4th down and 4 coming up for St. Francis and just 40 seconds to play.
Seeing a lot of the USF faithful starting to stand up and make their way.
Trying to get to the parking lot and make a break. A lot of them heading for 4:30 mass, I'm sure.
There you go.
Like yours truly.
Yeah.
Cenarius will take a snap. 21 seconds remain. Play clock at 11. Wants to throw the ball. He's got a wide open guy. That's Hundley. Curls at the 25. Still on his feet. Out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. It will be 1st down and 10 with 12.8 seconds remaining.
You know, that was a beautiful pass to end the game there by Clay Cenarius, throwing it to the left. As he catches it, he wheels out to the left and really takes it north and south. That was fantastic.
Sean, the clock ran down to 4.9 seconds. I don't know that we will see another snap.
Will it wind?
Well, did he may have gone out of bounds, so it did stop. We'll have 1 snap remaining. Cenarius threw for a touchdown late last week, as we mentioned to Janai Cooper. But no, they're just going to take the victory formation as Hundley goes back to play center field. And he'll take a knee, and that will be that. So the Cougars, with a 19-point first quarter, they cruise on with an impressive win over an undefeated St. Ambrose Fighting Bees team that came into Fort Wayne at 2-0, but it's 60-14. And USF, got to believe, are going to continue to hold on to that #1 ranking. They had all 16 first-place votes last week. Who can not name him #1 after today's performance?
Well, and again, St. Ambrose coming in with 2 road victories, and boy, they just looked, they were outgunned at every position. That's all there was to it. St. Francis had the talent, the speed, the aggressive play, and just shut them down. Obviously a talented team, but really no match for the USF Cougars today.
We will take a break, brief timeout. We'll be back with our post-game closing comments. We'll take a look at the scoring. But the Cougars impressive here today at home with this win, 60-14 over St. Ambrose. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana. Robert, whatever you need, we'll wrap this puppy up. Now, just this is it. We'll have final comments and get out of here. Gardner. And that was just the start of a lot of big things. On 4th and 12, they got a P.J. Dean touchdown run of 15 yards at the 7:45 mark, 10-0 Cougars. Then a safety, Thornbury. Mitch Thornbury credited with the sack of the quarterback in the end zone at the 5:06 mark, making it 12-0. They would get the ball back, and that would lead to a 5-yard touchdown run by Eli Wallace with 10 seconds remaining in the quarter. Gardner, perfect on the day at that point with extra points, and 19-0 USF. The onslaught would continue. It would be a 4-yard. Actually, it would be the Bees that would finally get on the board early in the second quarter. On a 4th down call, they would get a 4-yard touchdown pass from Romani to Osterberger, their running back, just across the goal line at the 11:53 mark. Gillen had the extra point, 19-7. But from there on out, then, a series of USF scores. Matt Crable with his with his first touchdown toss of the day, found Dan Rixey good for 15 yards. Touchdown at the 8:05 mark. Gardner with the extra point to make it 26-7. Then after a block kick, they took over, and Crable again from 6 yards out to Rocky James at the 6:49 mark. Gardner's extra point attempt hit the right upright, no good, but it was still 32-7. Then a big long run by P.J. Dean at the 3:38 mark, 76 yards down the left sidelines into pay dirt. Gardner with the extra point, 39-7. Then a pick six, second week in a row. Wilmer Cole picked off Romani, returned it to the house, 34 yards for the pick six interception at the 3:31 mark. Gardner with the extra point to make it 46-7. P.J. Dean early in the fourth quarter from 22 yards with a run, the 5:58 mark, 53-7. Gillen would add the extra point after a 36-yard touchdown. On 4th down, Thompson would receive from Romani the touchdown pass at the 1:06 mark, and then Martell Williams in the fourth quarter with 16 yards on the ground. Gardner added it to make it a 60-14 victory. Cougars go to 3-0. The Breeze now head home for the first time this year. Their home opener comes next Saturday, and they will take a 2-1 record back to Davenport, Iowa.
Well, Joe, I got to tell you, after the third quarter numbers here, I don't have end-of-game stats. We know Crable was only in for a couple of series there in the fourth quarter, but when we look at his numbers, at the end of 20 attempts, 18 completions for 303 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, again, when we talk about a score of 60-14, Crable is just on fire from a percentage standpoint, making all the right decisions. Backed up, again, we didn't see Green in today, and not to say who needs him, but how many weapons does USF have that they can rely upon? That's really the story right there. As, again, Coach Donley talked about going into the gauntlet, he's got to feel very confident about his player personnel, their decision-making, their athleticism, and their ability to win after today's outing.
And don't forget, Sean, they're still looking to get Duke Blackwell into the mix. He is somewhat recovered from the injury in the national championship game a year ago. They've just quite frankly have exhibited a lot of patience with him, trying to get him ready where he can really contribute. And Nate Carson really, we saw him figure with 5 touchdown catches a year ago, and he's another weapon waiting for Matt Crable to use.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, at the end of the day, excuse me, I don't know if it's in fact this officiating crew or a lack of fundamentals or whatnot. I think the coaches will take a look at some film, but against a different opponent, 17 penalties for 205 yards or 220 yards is going to lose you some ball games.
Can you do that against St. X? Can you do that against Marion? I don't think so.
I don't think you can. I really don't. So whether it's road fatigue for St. Ambrose or something that was going on today, a different opponent is going to yield different results with those kind of penalty yardage against the Cougars. But let's look again at the positives. Special teams play outstanding today. Defense just as mean and nasty as ever on defense, shutting down the Bees, and the offense as powerful as they ever have been. So Again, hats off to the USF Cougars, really playing a well-rounded and outstanding performance on all sides of the game today.
And we know that USF had 543 yards of total offense. That was after 3 quarters.
Right.
I got to think they got to be up over 600 for the ball game.
Yeah, no,
so
absolutely.
60 points and over 600 yards of total offense. You'll take that any day of the week.
Exactly.
Cougars 3-0. Now they head to Chicago. And by the way, that's one of those circled games. All Cougars next Saturday on the south side of Chicago. It'll be St. Xavier. They're the Cougars against your University of Saint Francis Cougars. That'll be a 2 o'clock Fort Wayne kickoff time. And our pregame next Saturday will be at 1:45 p.m. So the Cougars win big here at home today, 60-14 over St. Ambrose. Special thanks to our studio producer. His name was Robert Scora. Hope you enjoy that vacation well earned down in Fort Myers, Florida, all next week. And that's after Sherathon. By the way, quick note, Sean.
Oh, yeah.
Sherathon coming in.
Yeah, it surely is. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week, tune in all day. It's 436-1450 is the number to call. Great times, great cause. The Redeemer Radio Fall Sherathon right around the corner here in a few days.
Remember, we don't do what we do with sports coverage, high school, St. Francis, and of course all the great religious programming unless you step up the plate and help support Redeemer Radio. That's going to wrap things up here today from Darcy Stadium. With John, I'm Joe. So long, everybody. Thanks so very much for listening.
Parkview Sports Medicine, especially since I've been a pro, has been a place where my game has really been able to develop in multiple facets. Injury prevention, maintenance, physical therapy, weightlifting, agility work, all the things that I need to do in order to have an NBA body. This is the place for me to go when I come back home and I need to get a workout in. Always welcome me back with open arms.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
The Kelly Automotive Group is simple, transparent, reliable. Simple. Our customer specialists make buying a car easy and fun. Transparent. Our price listed is the best price. No hassle, no gimmicks. Reliable. Buy with confidence and peace of mind. We work hard to ensure the best value however you shop. Choose from over 60 vehicles under $10,000. Visit drivekelly.com. The Kelly Automotive Group. Simple, transparent, reliable.